Mwahahaha. Hello everybody and welcome back to another stream. Today we are doing, sorry, I had to set the tone, you know. Today we are doing a very spooky kind of stream. And you know what actually is the spookiest part about all this? It's the fact that the last time that I did this was literally like 3 years ago. What the heck? That's crazy. That's the craziest part about it, honestly. Hello everybody! Welcome, welcome, welcome! Mina yokoso! Kyou no haishin wa mechakucha kawaii. No. Very scary one today. Well, at least that's what I'm expecting, because I have asked you guys, the Renvaderz, to submit me, you know, real true story, like true stories that happened to you, scary stories, you know, that maybe either you experienced or you've heard from, you know, like a friend or a family member or something. Yeah, and I've been really looking forward to this stream, because I find these stories so interesting, honestly. Kawaii? Doki doki. Oh my gosh. I haven't tuned into a stream in 3 years. Oh my god, well welcome back. Was the last one that you saw literally the last scary viewers submitted stories? That's crazy. Oh my god, the background music. I've still got the like setup and stuff from the last time. You know, because I thought the ambience was perfect. But you might be able to see here. Look at these assets right here. Look at this. Look at this. I've got my piece of paper with the stories that I'm gonna read off of, and we got a very concerned looking Renvaderz right here. That's okay. It's okay. Woozoo. Don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine. It's all right. They're just stories. They can't hurt us. I hope. No, it's fine, don't worry. But these were actually made by Sayako. So Sayako, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the thumbnail as well. Like, oh my god, the art is so cool. I love it so much. Oh my god, we are flying? Yeah. Maybe you guys are like, you're so scared that you're shaking so much, you're like vibrating so much that you're just like, you just start, you know, floating off the ground. It's okay. Woozoo. Don't worry. Yeah, but how's everybody been? How are you guys doing? We acting scared to match the vibes? Oh, you're acting scared? Okay. You're actually, you know, what is it? Nerves of steel. You don't get scared very easily. I'm so excited for this because honestly, yeah, like I remember when we did the first telling viewers scary stories on stream, and I don't know, for whatever reason I just really enjoyed that stream. I think because it was like, you know, because like they're all experiences from the Renvaderz and stuff, so it's like, I don't know, it's just a lot of fun just hearing those stories and stuff from, you know, like a lot of viewers and stuff that I regularly see in my chat and stuff. So because I don't know, when I hear scary stories, you know, just of like anyone on the internet, I'm just like, oh, that's interesting, but I don't really know them, you know, like I don't know them in any capacity, right? But like, but viewer stories is kind of like, oh damn, these are like, you know, people that are like in my life, like every day, you know, in my streams and stuff. So yeah, so it was really cool, and I don't know, I really like scary stories and stuff, so yeah, so I thought this would be a really fun one to bring back. Ren, I fear your chat is really delayed. Yeah, it is delayed because I'm still I've got it on, what's it called, like normal latency or something. because YouTube's been a little bit weird lately, as I think probably a lot of you guys have heard. Yeah, and after changing it to normal latency, it seems to be a little bit better. So now I'm kind of like, I'm just gonna keep it like this for a little while. I'll put it back eventually, but yeah, it's not crazy delayed. I don't think so. Already lit the candles for some scary stories. Oh my god, you've got the mood ready for tonight's stream. That's perfect. We are around the campfire, ready for the stories. All right, you guys ready then? Have you guys got your blankets? Wrap yourself up in your blankets, okay? Because everybody knows the monsters can't get to you under the blanket, right? Yep, and we'll all huddle together. If the stories get scary, we got each other, all right, you guys? But I was mentioning before, you guys submitted a lot of stories, like more than I was expecting. So more than likely, we're gonna be cutting this stream into 2 parts. But we'll see how it goes anyways. But hey, should we get into it? You guys ready? Hearing a real story from a person who experienced the paranormal things, it feels different rather than horror movies. Yeah, like 100%. Super ready? I'm actually all wrapped up in blankets. Okay. All right, without further ado, let's get into some of these story submissions. So, let's have a look. Oh my god, there are so many, you guys. What the heck? Man, you guys really showed up for this one. All right, let's see. Here we go. Ready? First story. And it's a long one. Look at this. According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to... Okay, this was the one that I submitted first, just as a test. I just put in the bee movie script. Okay. Looks like the forum was working all good. Let's go on to the actual one. All right. Sorry about that. You like jazz? All right. Moving on. Oh, this one's just a really short one, actually. Okay. When I was 16, I was home alone one night, getting ready for bed, when I suddenly heard someone knock on the bedroom door 3 times. My parents were out at the time, and I was terrified. I quickly locked the door and hid under the covers. The end. What? What happened after that? You can't leave us on a cliffhanger like that. Oh my god. You guys, are they okay? Well, obviously they're okay if they wrote this, but what? That's such a tease. I need to know more. Who was it? What was it? Was it all in your imagination? I need to know, huh? It's okay, Renvaderz. Like, they're already crying. Like, whooshy, whooshy, whooshy. It's okay. It's okay. I think that Renvader was fine if they submitted the story. All right, we got a couple really short ones here. Hang on, let me see. Oh, here's another one. Okay, let's see how this one plays out. Not sure when this happens, but it was a long time ago. I was in my room, the usual, playing games. I think at night, not so late though. While I was playing my game, I heard something like a baby crying and screaming in my closet. What the heck? Do you have a baby brother or something? Maybe he just crawled in there and got, you know, like he couldn't open the door. Let's see. I thought it was from the game, and I was wearing my headphones. It was strange. Yeah, I thought it was really strange that there was a baby crying in my closet. Yeah, I would have thought that too. I would have thought that was very strange. I went and checked. Nothing was there. It's one of those ghost stories where, it's one of those ghost stories where Baby Blue Challenge was made? Baby Blue Challenge. Does that mean anything to you guys, chat? Baby Blue Challenge. I don't think I've heard of that before. The thing is, I haven't really watched any horror movies in a while because my laptop was dead. It was really strange and creepy. Second story. Also, not sure when this one happened, but I was asleep after playing on my phone. It was around like 12 a.m. or something. I slept and everything went well until suddenly I felt someone or something whispering right into my ear saying, "Hey, I'm watching you." It's like a female voice, like an old lady. And then I flinched. Oh my god, what the hell? Dude, I would be like, I would just be like, I don't even know what I would do. I would just stand up, be like ready to fight at that point. I'd be freaked out. Yeah, so then I flinched and I looked to my right and there was no one there. So I ended up sleeping with the lights on. You know what? Fair. Oh my god. What the heck? Wait. So I wonder how far apart these experiences were. Because first they had a baby, or the sound of a baby crying from their closet, right? And then they had like an old lady ghost. What the heck? They had a whole family of ghosts living in there. Just in their room. What the hell? Please tell me you left the house? Yeah. Oh my god. Dude, I honestly don't blame them for sleeping with the lights on after that though. Like that's... Ugh. You know what? I probably wouldn't sleep in that room. If that actually happened to me, I would probably just, you know, go out and sleep on the couch or something. Or like call a friend. Honestly, like do something. Like get out of the house or something. Maybe their room is a portal? Some kind of portal, yeah. I shut down myself suddenly after hearing the voice, not gonna lie. Oh my god. Oh, wait, is this your story? Oh my gosh. These are all anonymous, by the way, you guys. So if people don't want to, if they want to keep it that way, then they are more than welcome to. All right, next story. Okay, here we go. By the way, I haven't proofread, so if at times it seems like you know, like harder for me to read, or like I might have to change some certain things and stuff, depending on like what I can say on stream. You know, if I feel like it's all right, then yeah, I'm just gonna navigate it like that. But just a heads up. Anyways, all right. Hello, Ren. I am Japanese. This is a story that happened in the house where I live. I'm using a translator, so I apologize if the sentence sounds strange. This might be a pretty common kind of story. Sometimes I hear someone say hello in my house. At first, I thought it was just my imagination because I was tired. So I went to the hospital. Oh, you full on went to the hospital for it. But after the examination, they found nothing was wrong with me. Oh my god. I got scared and decided to look into it myself. I found out that this house is the one my mother has lived in since she was a child, and that other people had lived here before her. I don't know if it's connected, but I also learned that a whole family once died here together. Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of just like, you know, I feel like there's a lot of houses that are, you know, they've got similar backstory, you know, where like family members and stuff have passed away in the past, you know, like, and yeah, it makes you wonder about experiences like this, you know, hearing somebody just, so they literally just said hello, they would just call out. Oh my god. Dude. Yo, like if honestly, I kind of want to experience that just once in my life, just to see like if I could explain it away, or if I really had no explanation whatsoever, you know? That's crazy. And you full on went to the hospital because you were that, you know, you were that concerned about it. I wonder if that means that they heard it, you know, like well, yeah, they would have had to hear it multiple times. Yeah, that's what they said. But like, it must have been really, really realistic, right? Ugh. What the heck? That's creepy, dude. I don't know what to say. But what happened to the family? I don't know. They just left it at that. I guess we'll never know. Unless they do a follow-up in another stream. Ren wants to get possessed by ghosts. Now, I don't want to be possessed by ghosts or anything. I just want to have some kind of like reference to draw on, right? Everybody else getting all these ghosts hanging out with them, and they don't want to hang out with me. Anyways, next story. There. Wujju. It's okay. It's okay. All right, here we go. Next story, you guys. Hi, Ren. I experienced this when I was in college. I lived in a dormitory, and there were strict rules. One of them was that we had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning for worship. 4:30, waking up at 4:30. That's the scariest story I've ever heard in my life. I'm sorry, I don't think I can finish this one. Wait, that's so early. Oh my god. For morning worship. Okay. That day, I was extremely sleepy and decided to skip it. The lights in the room were controlled from a central system, so they were turned off after my friends left. I locked the door and went back to my bunk bed. When I tried to go back to sleep, the bed suddenly shook for a second. Earthquake? Huh? I thought it was an earthquake, but when I tried to sit up, I couldn't move my body at all. Then the bed started shaking violently, as if someone was shaking it from underneath. Oh my god, I'd be like... Whoa, did you look? Oh my god, hang on, let's see. After a while, it stopped. Then I smelled something metallic and fishy, more like the smell of blood. I felt nauseous, but I still couldn't move. All I could do was ugly cry until my friends came back. You poor thing, what the heck? I don't blame you though, that's... What the heck? I asked them, was there an earthquake? And did you bring any food that smells like fish or blood? And they all said no. After that experience, I promised myself that I would never skip the morning worship schedule again. Oh my goodness. What the heck? So you never looked under your bed? They never looked under the bed. How do you even explain something like that? So yeah, definitely no earthquake. And how do you explain the blood smell? It's like a supernatural energy affecting a person? I don't know. I suggest moving. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. It's crazy that happened, you know, like, you know, the one time where you skipped out on going to morning worship with everybody, you know, and you were just left on your own. And I wonder if that had something to do with why that happened, you know, like, I just mean, you know, like being on your own. That's really creepy. That's the worst though too, because then you've got no witnesses and stuff. And then when you try to tell people what happened, you know, I would feel like I was going crazy or something, you know? It's the monster under the bed? Yeah. Well, we'll never know because they never checked under the bed. That's weird. That's weird. I don't know how you would explain that one, you guys. Maybe a really big gust of wind came in through. But then how do you explain the smell? No. That doesn't make any sense. That's weird. All right. Next submission. Let's have a look. All right. Recently, around this year, when I was just sitting on my chair at my study desk at night, I felt like someone touched my back. I was startled and I looked back, but there was nobody there. I rushed out of my room and asked any of my siblings if they sneaked into my room to prank me. I even got mad and forced one... I even got mad... I even got mad and tried to force somebody to admit it, but nobody admitted it. They even said none of them came into my room. So I got scared and laid on the bed, but I couldn't sleep that night because that someone's hand felt like a real human hand. But some kind of different creature's hand. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait, is it a human's hand or like a... Like, what is it? What are we talking about here? That's someone's hand. Felt like a human hand, but some kind of different creature's hand. I think they mean that it felt like a creature's hand and not a human's hand. In neither... it's neither bugs nor animals' limbs. Hello? I still remember that feeling until this day. So that means I'm dealing with some kind of ghost? Like... Sounds like it. Doesn't sound like it was something of this world. That's weird. I mean, is there a chance? Is there a chance that somebody, like one of your, you know, like siblings was playing a prank on you? I don't know. I mean, they denied it. And I feel like you'd probably be able to, you know, like if something brushed up against your arm, you know, I feel like you would react instantly. You know, you would look over your shoulder like instantly. And I don't know, how does somebody, you know, like leave the room that fast? Like that's maybe humanoid? Doppelganger. Oh shit. Like Mandela effect or something? I think the something they felt, it was like a human hand. Oh. Yeah, they felt like a force, like a presence. That's weird. Another ghost encounter, it sounds like. I don't know how you would explain that one. If it was a sibling, you know, that'd be so messed up though, honestly. You know, I get playing pranks and stuff on you know, like your brother or sister, but I don't know. I feel like if I did that and I saw how shaken up they were, I would probably confess, you know. I'd be like, okay. It was me. Don't actually make this, don't let this traumatize you, okay? It was just a joke, you know? But if they never admitted it, you know, like, yeah. That's really weird. All right, next story. All right, context. I'm Native American. On my reservation, we have a forest that is eerily silent. No birds ever sing there, and the trees are so dense that broad daylight can make it look like it's night. When hunters go there, their dogs refuse to leave the vehicles. Oh, damn. No one ever uses the term skinwalkers, but many believe something is in there. Anyway, my mom and I were driving back from the city, late. It was a 2-hour drive in the middle of nowhere. Part of the road has to cut through that forest. Oh god, I don't like where this is going. My mom tends to speed. Oh, well that's kind of scary, you know, all in itself. Oh no, Mom, slow down. It's not a rush. And we were in the middle of a conversation when we saw something in the middle of the road. She quickly swerved around it, but we both saw a glimpse of it when the headlights reached it. I'm not even joking. It looked like a bald, naked person with completely white skin. What the fuck? It reminded me of the monsters from that horror movie, The Descent. I've never seen that one before. It was crouched in the middle of the road, eating something, and it lifted its head to look at us as we swerved around it. Its eyes even glowed like a cat's. Oh my god, I would be... You know what, Mom, you can speed as much as you want. Actually, you know what, go 200 kilometers until we get out of this wood. Oh my goodness. What the heck? That is actually something out of a horror movie. I wonder if they turned around. Please don't turn around. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it was crouched in the middle of the road eating something and lifted its head to look at us as we swerved around it. Its eyes even glowed like a cat's. My mom stopped and decided to turn around to see if we could see it again. Oh no. Mom, what are you doing? Mom, let's go home, please. I even told her. That's how people die in horror movies. Okay, you were the only sane one in that exchange there. Oh my god. But when we drove past the area, it was gone. Not even blood on the road, and not even 15 seconds had gone by. Both sides of the road were flat plains, yet we didn't see anything. Everyone just chalks it up to Native American folklore, but it legit freaks me out to this day. People have broken down out there too, for some reason, and it's always by that forest. That one's a really weird one. Because I feel like if you were on your own, you know, if you were just out there driving on your own, and you had heard about the forest before going in there, you know, and you kind of go in there with like these like stories in your head and stuff, right? And maybe it could be like your mind playing tricks on you, but here's the kicker, right? Like you were there with your mom, like it was both of you that saw it. Like, how are you supposed to explain that away? That's really weird. Well, you know what? I will say one thing. I'm glad that it wasn't there when you guys turned back around and went to check a second time. Mom, what were you thinking? Mom! No. Oh my god, dude. That's crazy. You think that thing was eating something or someone? I don't even want to think about it. That's creepy. What the heck? The Descent. Hang on. I want to look up what this looks like. The Descent. Monster. Ooh, okay. Yo, if I saw that, that's what it looked like. You guys, just to describe what it looks like this pale, this pale bald figure, but their face kind of looks like, it looks like a monster. It looks like almost like a bat or something. That's creepy as hell. If I saw that in real life, I would be calling the cops immediately. I would be like, beep, 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 beep. Yeah, Sonny Briscoe, I need you out here ASAP, okay? Because I think I'm gonna die. I would not be messing around with that. I would not be turning back, I don't think. Well, I'm glad you're safe. What the hell? That was a really creepy one. That was a good story. Thank you so much for submitting. Right, you guys, next story. All right, let's see. Ooh, they gave it a name as well. Okay, this one is called The Line That Was Not There. Oh my god, dude, that gave me goosebumps. Let's see. This happened a few years ago when I went to an amusement park with a group of friends. It was already late in the evening. Most people had left, and the park felt quieter than before. The lights were still on. The music was still playing somewhere in the distance, but everything felt slower, almost empty. We were walking through an area that did not have many people when I noticed a ride ahead of us. It was a little off the main path, behind a rope barrier. What caught my attention was not the ride itself. There was a line of people standing there. They were already queued up, facing the entrance, waiting. No one was talking. No one was moving. They were just standing still. I pointed at the ride and said, "That one looks interesting. Let's go line up." After seeing everybody like that, really? My friends stopped walking. "That ride is closed," one of them just said. I thought they were joking. I said, "What do you mean it's closed? There are people standing right there." They looked at each other and then back at me. "There's no one there," another friend said. Oh my god, what? Are we going crazy right now? What's happening? I turned back to look again. I could still see them. That was when I started feeling uneasy. Their clothes looked old, not dirty, just outdated. The colors looked dull compared to everything else around us. None of them were on their phones. None of them moved. Not even a little. A staff member came over and stood near the rope. This ride has been closed for a long time, he said. Please do not go past this area. I asked him if he was sure. He nodded. Yo, get out your phone or something. Take a picture. Surely they take a picture of this, right? When I looked back at the entrance again, the line was gone. Never mind. There was no sound of people leaving. No footsteps. Nothing. Just the empty space in front of a ride that was clearly not operating. That night, after we went back, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I kept replaying the moment in my head, trying to figure out what it was that I had actually seen. I still don't know who those people were. And sometimes I wonder, if my friends had not stopped me that night, I wonder if I had walked forward and joined that line. Oh my god, wait, no. When it was finally my turn, where would that ride have taken me? That is creepy as heck. Wait, did that really happen? That's crazy. Wait, dude, my first instinct, if my friends were doing that, if this was me in that situation, and they were just like, Ren, there's nobody in that line. You know, obviously I would just, you know, I'd probably just be like, okay, stop messing with me. But if they insisted, like I would be whipping out my phone and taking a picture immediately. You know, if I suspected something really weird was going on. That is so, you know, but maybe that's what you were thinking of doing, but then, yeah, then they just disappeared like that. That's creepy. The ride to hell, I guess? Oh my god, the ride to heck. Whoa, that was a creepy one. That was a fun read though. Thank you so much for the submission. It might be the moment of being spirited away. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, when they were wondering, you know, like what would have happened if I joined the line. And I'm just thinking, probably nothing good, you know? I think you made the right call, not doing that. Oh my god. I had to turn on my lamp after that story. Whoosha, whoosha, whoosha. Getting the creepy vibes. Alright. Next story. This happened when I was a child, around 8 or 9 years old. I was in the bathroom and brushing my teeth before I went to sleep. There's no air circulating and my door was locked, completely confined area. When I washed my face, my eyes were closed. I felt a chill down my spine. Then the bath curtain moved, moved like it was being blown by the wind or something. It scared the shit out of me, not gonna lie. Okay. So that's the full story there. So that was a shorter one. Wait. So you just saw the bath curtain move on its own with like no draft or anything. You see, these ones are like, I don't know. I don't know what to think about these ones because it's like, you know, but if there's no draft, if there's no, you know, like source of wind or something in the room, then it's kind of just like, how do these things happen? You know? Like, I don't know. Bug? was it a bug? Yeah, maybe it was just a really fast moving ant or something, you know, and it just like up the wall and it kind of blew the curtain a little. I don't know, you guys. I think we're coping right now. I think we're coping. That's weird. That's really weird. You felt a chill down your spine as well. So yeah, so I don't know. Because it's just one thing if you saw something move out of the corner of your eye, but actually, you know, getting this weird off feeling before it happening, and then immediately afterwards seeing something move on its own, you know? Yeah, that one's a weird one. And I think there's a lot of experiences like this, right? And I don't know, they're hard to explain away. It's weird. Actually I do have one story that was kind of similar that happened to me. But I don't know, you guys, like, it seemed weird when it happened, but then immediately after, I guess I just explained it away. Do you want to hear my story real quick? I'm gonna tell you my story from what I remember. So it was around Christmas, right? And I think it was the Christmas after one of my relatives, like a you know, like an older relative, passed away, and so their you know, like who they were married to had sent us you know, some Christmas you know, like decorations and stuff that were owned by them, and they were just kind of, you know, giving them to different family members and stuff. And anyways, so we got this snowman decoration, and it was kind of big, like it just sits on the ground, and you know, he was you know, holly jolly soul. He just filled the room with you know, the Christmas vibes. But anyways, so we had gotten that one, and I think it was a few days before Christmas or something, and we had, you know, we obviously had set it up in the main room with the tree and stuff. And my family, I don't know, they were going to grab dinner or something, and they asked me if I wanted anything, and I was just like, no, I'm good. And I was just holding down the fort, you know, like with the animals and stuff. And they left, and we've got these sliding doors, you know, like at the end of the main room, and yeah, they were completely shut, right? And I was just watching TV or something. I don't know what I was doing exactly, but yeah, but I was I was just kind of minding my own business, just sitting there, and then all of a sudden the sliding doors just kind of, they just opened on their own. And I was like, I looked over it, I was like, what the heck? That's weird. And then I'm walking around, and I'm like, I'm looking for, you know, a window that's open or something. Obviously the first thing that that you would think to do. I'm just like, oh, is there like a draft or something? That was really weird, because you kind of have to like pull on these doors to make them open. And yeah, so I closed the doors, and then I looked right next to the door, and there was that snowman decoration that was sent to us. And I started thinking, and I was like, that's really weird. Okay. But no, and nobody was there. I was the only one in the house. You know, with the animals and stuff, but all the animals and stuff were in the room, and they were all settled and stuff. And anyway, so I was there by myself, and I was like, okay, well, no need to get embarrassed, you know, because I'm on my own. So I said out loud, I was like, if there's anybody in the room with me right now, do that again. I asked them to do it. And no joke, literally like 5 or 6 seconds after I said that, the door freaking did it again. It opened on its own, and I was like, what the hell just happened? And this is a true story, you guys. And I don't know, for whatever reason, after that happened a second time, I was like, I don't know, I didn't think to try it again. I was just like, okay. All right. And I just kind of sat there for a little bit, and I was like, well, that was weird. I was like, but maybe it was like, I mean, there's no windows open or anything. maybe the doors just do that now. I don't know. I was just kind of trying to justify it in my own head. But anyways, then you know, like people got back, and they came through the door, and yeah, and then well, I told them about it. And they were like, "That's weird. That's kind of strange." But my mom immediately was like, she was like, "Well, you know, like I don't know much about that sort of stuff, but if it was anything like that, I feel like it was a positive presence or energy." And I don't know why she said that, because I didn't say anything about you know, about the snowman. Like, I didn't say anything, but she just, yeah, without any hesitation, she just went straight to that. And I don't know, I guess my mom is a really, you know, look on the bright side, kind of optimistic person, but I still thought it was a little bit strange. So anyways, that is my story. I don't think I've ever told you guys that before. But for whatever reason, it's like, yeah, it was weird, but I didn't see anything. You know what I mean? I didn't really like I didn't see like a ghost or anything, you know? Really, really weird, and kind of weird how I just like explained it away as well. I don't know. Where is that snowman now? I don't know actually. Probably just in storage. Not sure. Your story is more scary than others. If I'm at that door, number 1, I would scream. Number 2, I would get the hammer. Number 3, demolish the haunted door. Well, I mean, how would I explain that? You know, like my parents come back and they just see, you know, the destroyed door, you know, just like a pile of broken wood on the ground. I'm just like, oh yeah, you know, the door was possessed. My bad. You know, just did what I had to do. Ren, you were way too casual about that encounter. You think so? I mean, like it was just a door opening. Like I didn't. If something flew across the room or whatever, then maybe I would have been a little bit more hesitant. But you know, it was just a door opening, so. I don't know. And I don't know, it could have just been, you know how houses settle? You know how they just kind of like sometimes, you know, like something will just kind of like fall on its own. It'll just tip over on its own or whatever. I guess maybe I'm chalking it up to something similar to that, you know? And I'm just like, yeah, it was probably something like that. I don't know. Did your pets bark or make a noise or anything? No, they didn't. No, in fact, I didn't even really look at them. I didn't even look at them to see if they reacted at all. But definitely, like, you know, no big reaction that you would expect, you know, like if, I don't know. Yeah, nothing like that. I think I now have a fear of snowmen. No, Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul. Don't worry. But anyways, so that was my little story there. But let's move on to the next one. Next viewer submitted one. Let's have a look. Oh, is it loading? Okay, there we go. Next story. This is less of a scary story, but more of an unexplainable one. In one house I no longer live in, there was a ghost or spirit or residual energy of some kind. My family and I called it our ghost dog. We have 3 smaller dogs, but several times when they were asleep or outside, we'd hear the clicking of claws running on hardwood floors. Or in other cases, we'd feel something jump onto the bed or couch when all of our dogs were already laying down. Sometimes it was a bit unsettling to hear when it was late at night, but other than that, it never really caused any harm. I saw it once, in fact, very briefly. You saw it? I assume it was our... Wait, I assume it was a chihuahua or something. Very short, and the silhouette I saw was white. In the same house, however, we'd heard voices in the shower, and one called out the name of someone who we discovered had lived there in the past and was now dead. But it didn't happen to me. Oh, but that one didn't happen to me. Fun times. Yep, fun times. So you just had like... You just had a ghost dog. You just had a polterpup. You know, just hanging out in your house. Honestly, I don't know, like... I feel like if you were to get haunted by any ghost, that's probably the best... You know, that's the best outcome there, right? You just got a little friendly visitor, you know? It's crazy. So you actually saw it though. And it was so yeah, it was a shorter stature dog. It kind of looked like a chihuahua, and it was white. What about you, Renvaderz, in the chat? Have you ever had any experience like similar with pets where you could have sworn that you heard them in a different room and then it turns out that they were in the same one as you the whole time? That sad poor puppy. I know, but at least it's like, I don't know. Like maybe they felt like comfortable being around, you know, all the other animals, and I don't know. I'd rather get haunted by a ghost dog than a human one. Yeah, probably. Probably me too. Depends, is the puppy not in peace or something? Well, yeah, that's the thing that everybody says about ghosts, right? Is that like the whole reason, you know, that their presence kind of sticks around is because of something keeping them here, right? Like some kind of unresolved thing or some kind of like bad thing that happened. So yeah, so I guess that is probably more likely on the sad side. Oh my god, that actually reminded me that I mistaked my cat's shadow for a person a lot. Oh really? For a person? I that especially at night, I can imagine that being very problematic, you know, like you're just in bed, you know, and you look out onto the hallway and you just see the shadow of a human, you know, and you freak out and then you just realize it's your cat or something. I would, at that point, I'd be like, Freckles, get in here already. Freckles, is that a cat name? I don't know. Speckles. I don't know. Yeah, I also have heard that it can happen when they don't know that they don't know that they have passed away. Oh, just ghosts in general? Yeah, I've also heard that theory, that they just kind of continue doing the same things that they did in waking life, you know? And it's like a loop. It's almost like a memory played on repeat. I have heard that before, actually. That was an interesting one. Well, I mean, at least, you know, that's probably the furthest from malicious that you could, you know, or like malevolent, like, you know, like an evil spirit. That's like the furthest from that you could probably get, you know, like a doggo. So yeah, I don't know how to explain that one away either. Thank you for submitting. All right, you guys, next story. Let's see. This one's a little bit longer. Let's have a look. All right. When I was in junior high, one particular day I had a crazy sequence of events happen that creeped me out. The day was my mom's birthday. Not knowing I had no morning classes, I mistakenly went to school early in the morning for it. It sucked that we could not leave even if we had no classes that morning, because the security guards won't let us, so we stayed and waited for afternoon classes inside the school instead. While waiting, I was with my classmates, and one said if we could watch a video about ghosts and demons. I was feeling so bored, so I agreed to him and watched it with him. You guys must have been really bored, like, to watch videos about demons and stuff? I don't know. You're just brave, I guess. Afternoon classes came, and the other class said there was a student there who was possessed. What? That escalated quickly, what the hell? I could hear the screaming from the other class, so our teacher decided to pray with us because of it. What? What is happening all of a sudden? I would be like, huh? Can I go home? I don't... Look, I'll go do my homework. I'll go do whatever. You know, I just don't want to be here anymore. What? Okay. And they go on to say, there was one vacant time we had because our other teacher was absent that day. I went to the bathroom with my friend, but I saw a hole in the ceiling that had a ladder going through it. I tried to peek inside, but my classmate pulled me away from it and said I shouldn't do that. She said there might be a lady in there smiling down at me, so I went back with her to the class from the bathroom. What made them say that? What the heck? That's a terrifying thought. Recess time. For some unknown reason, my classmate from behind me started laughing uncontrollably. All of a sudden. It scared us, so we backed away from her. When we told her that it wasn't funny, she said she doesn't even know why she laughed like that at all. What the hell? Time to make some new friends. What? I went home, already feeling the creeps from all these strange events happening, but it immediately faded because I went and ate the food from my mom's birthday. At home, I started to think about all the strange things that happened at school before I went to watch a scary video on YouTube because it was on my For You page. Maybe a big mistake, but I suddenly felt the chills and started getting nauseous all of a sudden, so I rushed to the bathroom. I laid down on the bed that night looking back at all the events that happened and started to think if they were all connected or just coincidences. Still creeps me out to this day. I think that, honestly, that first one is the one where I'm like, what the heck happened there, you know? The teacher, wait, the other class said that there was a student who was possessed. Okay, so potentially like a rumor or something, right? But then you could hear screaming from the other class. And our teacher decided to pray with us because of it. Okay, that's the point where I would be like, okay, why are people reacting like this? Like having your teacher, what, the teacher didn't even go check or whatever? Their first reaction was just to be like, okay, well, everybody, put your hands together, we're gonna pray, okay? Bless this school, please don't send the demon in this classroom. Like that is... I don't know how I feel about that. That is weird. That's a weird first reaction, in my opinion. You know, that makes me think that, you know, that makes me wonder, like, why did they react like that? Did they know something? You know, that the students didn't? I have no idea. And the scream, like, I don't know, like, you could maybe argue that it's just, it could have been anything, you know? But I guess, yeah, depending on the type of scream or whatever, I guess this one viewer would have known it best, right? Yeah, because like the other things, like the friend just randomly laughing, maybe they were just messing with everybody, but like also that happening, you know, right after that first experience, I don't know, that's kind of weird. Honestly, yeah, I probably wouldn't have watched the scary YouTube video that night. You know, like that seems more like like you can explain that one away, right? You know, it's like, well, you know, after the things that happened earlier that day, of course you're on high alert, you know, and something like that is probably gonna get under your skin a lot easier than just any random day. But man, that's creepy. That was a creepy one. It was a public school, not a Catholic school. It was a public school. Maybe they were also too scared to confirm it. The teacher? Maybe. That could be possible. Same, I probably wouldn't even sleep that night. I mean, I'd feel at least better being out of the school, you know? But yeah, like, it would have probably shaken me up a little bit as well. I don't know. Because I'm really thinking, like, if... I'm really trying to put myself in the perspective of if this really happened to me, you know? Like, in horror games and stuff, it's kind of like... I really do have that separation where, like, it doesn't really affect me as much because I'm just like, it's just a game or whatever, you know? But if I was undoubtedly convinced of, you know, like, of seeing something or hearing something really, you know, like, unexplainable and creepy, like, that's a whole different thing, right? I would probably play it more on the safe side. I don't know, like, it would be cool to see a ghost, but also, if it was presented in that way, you know, kind of like a demon or something, I don't know if I would. I don't know what I would do. Not sure. What would you guys do if you were in that situation? The haunted YouTube recommendations. Yeah. Oh no. The ghost possessed the YouTube algorithm. That's terrifying. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys. Now the background music is creeping me out. Then it's working. All right, let me get a sip of water here. Demons are more scary than ghosts, methinks. Yeah, I guess it depends on, you know, like what you believe in and stuff, right? But I mean, the whole kind of thing about that is, you know, like the difference is one definitely has malicious intent as opposed to maybe, you know, it being kind of gray on the other side. Yeah. All right. Next story. All right. I told someone this story before, and they think it's more thrilling than scary, but it was scary to experience, okay? Anyways, so it started on a completely normal school day. But suddenly, one of my friends got possessed. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot? So we were all kind of chill. And if we leave her alone, then she'll go back to normal. But today, for some reason, some girls in my class decided to fight, and one of them ran crying to the bathroom. Some of us followed her, including me, to calm her down. But then one girl who stayed in class suddenly also ran to the bathroom screaming, "She has a knife! She has a knife!" And we were all like, what the fuck? Who? But then the possessed girl walking into the bathroom with a knife, but then there was a possessed girl walking into the bathroom with a knife, and we all ran to completely different bathroom stalls and locked ourselves in. What is happening right now? This turned into a full-on horror movie premise. This happened? She started screaming, "Come out!" multiple times, and we could hear her scraping her knife on the bathroom doors. Some of us were crying, and I was personally scared as fuck. I didn't know what would happen next, but thankfully someone reported it to the teachers, and the teachers had to like tackle the girl, and they dragged her outside, and we heard it. So we immediately came out and found blood on the floor. Oh my god, that's one gutsy teacher. You know what? Props to the teacher though. That's, you know, if I was a teacher, I'd just be like, okay, I know this is my job, but like, you gotta pay me a little more. Actually, no, I wouldn't. No, I would do it as well, actually. My teacher thankfully didn't get stabbed, but he got nicked a bit on the hands. And some of my other guy friends also got nicked, and they had to drag her to exercise her in the school's medical center, I guess. And the room is not far from our class, and we could just hear screaming for an hour. And I don't know what they were thinking, but the teachers decided to just let her go back to class instead of sending her home. Okay, at first I was like, you know what? These teachers, they're doing, you know, hell yeah. These are some good teachers. But they just like kept her. Not even the fact that, you know, that she might start doing more stuff, you know? Like, you know, like even if it wasn't a legit possession or something, like the chance of it happening again is still there. So I would feel like at least, you know, like send her home and like have her around people that can, you know, like take care of her. But they just let her stay in class? What the heck? The entire classroom just felt so off for the rest of the day. Yeah, no kidding. What? That's crazy to me. And that's my story. Thank you. Also, it was like, I was like 15 when this happened. And to add, I'm from Southeast Asia, and we have a lot of ghosts here, and kids are more prone to being possessed for some reason. I don't know why. That's really weird. That's really weird. That's the second story. That's the second story where, you know, they kind of included, like possession or something like that. I don't think I've ever even heard, you know, like even from like friends and stuff, I've never heard of like a possession story before. I don't know, maybe in Australia it's just not as much of a thing. Like you mentioned, you know, like apparently it happens a little bit more often, like where you're from. Like I've heard ghost stories from friends and, you know, people close to me and stuff, but yeah, never anything like possession. She might not get possessed, but she still might have like a mental thing. I don't know. As a teacher though, that's definitely happened where the parents were neglectful, so there was no point calling the parents, so they just kept them at the, kept them at school because it was the safest place for them. You know what? Yeah, you bring up a good point actually. You know, that is true. You know, and it's, I actually have heard of that where it's just kind of like, as a teacher, it's kind of like what options do they have? Because like if, I think we've kind of talked about this before on a different stream, but like for teachers that have a really, really hard job, you know, because they've got like kids that just will not, you know, like follow the rules and they just are not into listening and stuff like that. Like what are you supposed to do if you know, like you call their parents and, you know, like the parents are just like, whatever, like we've tried everything, we don't know, you know, like what's the next option at that point? Yeah, I guess maybe it makes a little bit more sense now that you know, that the possibility of them, the teachers just being like, okay, just put them back in class, you know, that makes a bit more sense now. But yeah, man, I don't know whether that was, you know, just some kind of like stress-induced thing that happened, or if it was legitimately, you know, like a possession or something. I don't know, but yeah, I don't blame you guys for being, you know, like traumatized by that event. Like, I want to give you a hug, honestly. I'm sorry to hear that happened. If that is, if that's, yeah. It sounds more like a manic episode rather than a possession. I don't know. Yeah. horror stories in Australia is just the wildlife. Hey, we got some cute little fluffy koalas and kangaroos. You know, it's not that scary. And only a couple ghosts here, apparently. All right, thank you so much for submitting that story. That was like insane. If I lived through something like that, I would probably have to do like a lot of you know, just like mental stuff to just be like, okay, that was a very, very probably uncommon thing that happened to me. You know, I'd have to do a lot of unpacking for that, you know, or maybe go see a therapist or something. But I'm glad you're okay. All right, you guys. Aren't kangaroos a menace though? Apparently there are a lot of kangaroos, like a lot, like and I think that some places have trouble with them, but I think they're cute, so you know what, I like them. All right, next story. Let me get a sip of water here first. These are some good stories, you guys. How's everybody feeling right now? Is everybody sufficiently spooked out? Are we all? Are you okay? This one Renvader right here is not having a good time. It's okay. Hey, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. If any ghosts come our way, I'm gonna kick their butts. Okay? Don't worry about it. All right. Here's the next story, you guys. You ready? Okay. This one has a name as well. I love when you guys give them the names. This is so good. The Legend of the Room That Must Never Be Opened. Ooh, mysterious. In my old school, there's a hallway no one walks through alone. Not because it's far, but because something walks there when no one else does. Whoa, okay. That's a good start. That's a good start to the story. At the end of the hallway, there is a room with no number. It does not appear on any map. It has no registered key, and no teacher admits to having ever entered it. Still, everyone knows about it. This happened to me and a friend of mine. We needed to stay late one afternoon in a classroom, but it was next to that last classroom in the hallway, and in that moment, the school no longer breathed the same way. Breathed the same way? The lights flickered for no reason, and the air tasted of dust and rain. It had a really weird, it had a really weird video, but then we heard the sound. Scratch, scratch, scratch. They weren't knocks. It was something clawing from the inside of the wall next to us. My friend wanted to leave. Yeah, let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. But I stepped closer to the classroom. When we reached the room, the door was open just enough to let out an unnatural cold. Inside, the specter floated. Its body hung in the air like a badly buried corpse. What? It had no eyes, but it knew we were there. From its mouth came a whisper made of many voices. Children no one remembered losing until that moment. What is happening? The lights went out. My friend and I screamed so loud. My friend collapsed to the floor and I froze. I couldn't move any part of my body, but then I noticed the specter getting closer and closer, and it leaned forward to touch my friend's cheek. It did not drag them away. It did not attack them. It marked them, leaving a big line on their cheek. It's like worse. What? It's like put a curse on them or something. Oh my god. That's when the nightmares began. We woke up in our classroom with all our stuff. I panicked and checked my friend's face. No marks at all, so we thought that it was just a scary dream. It's one hell of a dream. The legend says the specter does not live in the school. The school is only where it chooses who to follow. Damn. That is why some students swear that if you stay after classes and walk down that hallway, the room is no longer at the end, it's closer. And if you hear scratching behind you, do not run, do not scream, because the specter does not chase, it waits for you to look at it. And when you do, the room appears in your dreams, open, waiting for you. This happened when I was 15 years old. And that's the end of the story. That can't be real, right? No way. That is so much. That's so much to take in right now. What? So the whole school has this rumor about this room. And I mean, you definitely felt like you experienced something there. I mean, you kind of thought after the fact, like maybe it was, you know, maybe it was like a dream, or you were, you know, like, I don't know. Yeah, that is, your friend was marked on their cheek. That friend, I'm sorry, but that friend is the one in the horror movie that doesn't make it out alive. I hope they're okay. I hope that I'm wrong. And I hope that, you know, it was just like, just a little scratch and it just went away with, you know, just put a band-aid on that. You're good. But that's really creepy. Was it a dream? It sounds more like a dream to me. Like, it sounds more like a really vivid, like, nightmare or something. But I mean, you know, they said that it happened when they were 15 years old. That friend is low-key cooked. I'm sorry, that's kind of bad to laugh at, but the way you said that, they're low-key cooked. I hope the friend is okay. I do too. If this is like legitimate, like that is really, really concerning, you know. And I wouldn't want to go to that school. Nope. I'll just stay home. I'll play hooky. I'm just gonna be like, you know, school is for losers. But secretly, I'm just like shaking. I'm like, don't send me back there. I'm so invested. I know, these stories are great. Thank you so much for submitting. That was that was a ride for sure. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm coping so hard right now. These are great. I love this. Okay, next story. Hi Ren, this happened a few months ago. About a month after I started university, actually. My school is in an area that I grew up in, but not directly in it, if that makes sense. It is not near any residential areas / neighborhoods, and none of the campus housing allows pets. It's important to the story. Okay. Me and my roommate were walking around late into the evening. It was maybe around 9 or 10 p.m. We were in the middle of campus between two larger STEM buildings, and along the side of the buildings was a lot of bushes, but they weren't very thick and you could see right through them. We were minding our own business passing these bushes, and my roommate remarked that the bushes were surprisingly empty because you could usually see squirrels or small rabbits at the base of the bushes during the day. That's so cute. But anyways, almost immediately after she said this, one of the street lights across the sidewalk flickered, and we saw it spark. And after a few seconds, it flickered back on. We gave each other a scared look, and when we turned back, there was a massive silhouette near a tree behind the streetlight. It looked like a really big cat, kind of like a bobcat. The thing is, it didn't really have any discernible markings on it. Bobcats are not native to our area, and my campus is in a relatively urban area, So the likelihood of it being a bobcat is is very slim. I also grew up in a rural area, about an hour away from my campus, and grew up seeing bobcats every so often. And this beast was way bigger. And yeah, way bigger than any bobcat that I've ever seen. After this, me and my roommates rushed back to our dorm and became kind of paranoid about it. My roommate said that in her culture, big cats can be a bad omen, and I'm very easy to freak out. And we were looking up big cats native to our area. The only things it could have been are bobcats, lynxes, or mountain lions, none of which are native to the area that my university is in, within a 50-mile radius. What the heck? That... Oh my god. Like, even if it was a big cat like that, like, that's still scary. That is actually still scary, you know, like... and they finish off by saying, very freaky and scary. We still don't know what that beast was, and none of our other friends on campus have any idea what it could have been. Please wish me health and not to be mauled one day. I'm sending you all of the positive vibes, okay? Because sounds like you need them. That's... I mean, that's just more on the concerning side more than anything, you know, like, you know, like, and you said that it was bigger than a bobcat too, right? I mean, maybe it's a lucky thing that you were out with, you know, with some friends, with your roommates, you know, like, because I don't know, maybe if you guys were like on your own or something, it could have been a different story. That's really scary to think about, but yeah. Well, I'm glad you're okay. Dude, in those situations, because I have seen like I've heard of, you know, like stories of people hiking and stuff, you know, and in a lot of cases I hear that the thing you're supposed to do is not back away. You're not supposed to back away or to like run, because as soon as you run, it's over, you know, like, because they obviously, you know, they're used to hunting other animals and stuff, and they're fast, they're really fast, you know, so in a lot of those cases, the thing that I hear that is your best bet to do is just to make yourself look really big. I think particularly, like, you hear this with certain types of bears, because, yeah, because in those situations, outrunning them is just, like, good luck, you know? Did they end up seeing it again after that? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Yeah. Because I wonder if that was just one isolated event, or if you know, other people on the campus you know, had experienced similar things, you know, like seeing a silhouette of you know, a big cat at night. Yeah. Well, I'm really happy that you walked out of that all right. You know, yeah, that is not something that you would want to see, you know, late at night when nobody's around. Actually, anytime, but especially when nobody else is around, you know. So I'm a cat person, and if I'm in that situation, just know that my last words would probably be, "You're a kitty kitty," or "Psst, psst, psst." No. Oh no, this one Renvader in the chat is as good as gone. No. If not friend, why friend shaped? You guys, I don't know. Sometimes I think that I would also be like that in a situation. You know, like if there were like hungry wolves around me or something, there's just a part of me that is just like, aw, come here, you cute doggos, come here, woosh woosh, and they'd be like, bah, 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 bah. And then it's over for the alien prince. No. I think in those situations, like, you really would go into fight or flight, you know. You'd have to. So, can I pet the dog? Oh my gosh. Anna, hey! Hello, hello, hello. Boo! Oh my god, Anna. Terrifying. Anna, do you have any ghost stories? Any, like... Have I asked you that in person? I feel like I might have asked something like that. I don't know. I told one experience, personal experience that happened to me a little earlier in this stream. But I still don't believe in ghosts like a lot of other people, you know, seem to swear that, you know, they swear that they're real and stuff, and I'm like, you know, like, I had something that maybe could be considered a ghost encounter, but yeah, it was probably just the house settling or something, you know. I don't know. Until I actually see a ghost standing right in front of me, it's just like, I don't know. It's just hard to fully be on that side of the fence, you know? Yeah, I saw a real ghost when I was really young. You did? Was it like was it more of a, what am I trying to say? More of a kind of just like really scary and kind of like a confronting experience, or was it more of just like a weird kind of like in passing thing, you know, where you just kind of saw it and you're like, that's weird. It's crazy though. Yeah, I hear in a lot of stories like this, like, people are quite a little bit younger as well. Like that is a thing as well, I think. Like high school stories, and even, you know, just stories in school. You hear a lot of those types of stories. Chat's like, what? Anna? Oh no. I mean, I haven't seen one, but I saw someone possessed and exorcised, so... Like that? Seeing somebody be exorcised? You've seen that in real life? I feel like that would be really scary. I don't know, just seeing everybody kind of like all be really stressed out about it, and, you know, like, I don't know, just everybody kind of coming together and being convinced of it, like that is, you know, that seems really creepy to me. Anna says, I mistook the ghost as my teacher because she said she would be out of the cabin for a little bit. So I waved to her, but she didn't respond. And then 20 minutes later, my teacher came back into the cabin. So I realized it wasn't her. What the heck? Wait, what? Did they wave back? Did they actually wave back though? Oh, she didn't respond. Oh, she said she didn't respond. Oh, that's still... Maybe she's not your teacher, Anna? I think it probably was not. Doppelganger? My god, that's creepy as hell. You would have been like, you would have been shitting yourself after that, right? Like, you would have just been like freaked out. No, they didn't. She just stood there. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'd go run up to them and try to give them a high five. I'd be like, hey, stop ignoring me. High five. Go straight through them. Ren, what would you do in that situation? That's exactly what I would do. I'd just be like, hey, come on, miss. Don't ignore me. I'm so glad that I'm a dumb kid. You just kind of brushed it off. You're just like, eh, well, that's weird. Probably nothing. Ren? What? You guys, if I was a ghost, all I'm saying is that if I was a ghost, okay, and I was, you know, and I was showing myself to people and, you know, like, and, you know, like, materializing in front of people, I would hope that they would at least acknowledge me, you know? Because I feel like I'd be pretty lonely. I feel like the whole reason that I'm materializing in the first place is because I'm just like, guys, I've been like walking around. I don't know what the hell's going on. Can somebody just like, can somebody acknowledge me? Give me a high five or something. Anyways, thanks for letting me share my spooky story. Have fun, everyone. Thanks, Senna. That's crazy though. Oh my god. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Thank you. I think you'd be a cute ghost. I'm like Casper, you know? The friendly ghost. You know, I would actually, if I could mess with some people and make them a little bit scared as well, like that'd be kind of fun as a ghost. Come on, you gotta admit it, right? Like if you came back as a ghost, it would be kind of fun to try to freak someone out, right? You know? Just mess with them just a little bit. No? Just me? Would you ghost? Would you? Alright, you guys. Should we move on to the next story? Ren, would you possess someone if you were a ghost? No. That's taking it too far. You know, I would just prank them. You know, like put like a whoopee cushion under their seat or something. Nothing, no possession, nothing like that. No. All right, you guys, next story. Let's go. All right. Next story. Maybe this isn't as scary. So I recommend to read it all before reading it out. Sorry. And sorry, this is oh, I'm using a translator for this one too. Oh, that's okay, no worries. Honestly, all different types of stories, welcome. Let's just go for it. Okay. My dream is a bit weird. In my dream, there is a white, small box. Even when I'm fighting as a hero, destroying the whole world, drowning in a dark lake, the box was always there, watching me. Like the box? It's just in every single dream that you have? It's so weird. And I always realized that it was a dream after I wake up. One day, I was dreaming, walking among the trees as a lizard. That sounds like a really fun dream, actually. And then the world suddenly was painted black, within the blink of an eye. And the place changed. I was in my bed, lying down. I was human, and it was me. I realized that I woke up, and I took my phone out next to me. As I turned the phone on, I got shocked. The wallpaper was that white box. So it was a dream. A really realistic dream. This started to happen more and more. I mailed to my friends as usual, and my friends sent me the photo of the white box. I opened my diary, and the white box popped out. I watched VODs, and there was that white box inside the game. What is going on here? I dreamt this kind of thing again and again. Because I'm human, memories sometimes change. I realized that some of my memories have a thing inside of it. It's that box. And then I realized, is my whole memory real? Or is the box in real life? Is it a real thing? As I realized it was a dream, I sometimes get scared of doing anything when I'm happy. If I see that box, that shows this happiness is fake. Hmm? Now I'm scared of seeing that box every day. Is it real? Is it a dream? Well, at least you are real. That's giving it's like reminding me of this like premise of a movie. Oh, I can't remember what it is. But like seeing something over and over, you know? And it seems like it's random, but it just keeps coming up. Yeah. It's kind of like reminding me of a story kind of like that. So you were seeing this box over and over in your dreams. And wait, so about halfway through you kind of talked about, were you saying that it was happening in your waking life as well? Like you just kept seeing the box, or was it still contained to the dream? Because if it's contained the dream, I mean that's still a creepy, like, think about it. If you were having, you know, like all these different dreams and stuff, and this one thing just kept happening over and over, right? And I get that, you know, like reoccurring dreams are a thing and stuff, but like one specific detail that is just like, you know, like maybe easy to overlook, you know, like a box or an object or something. I feel like that would still kind of get under my skin a little bit. I'd be like, why does this keep happening? You know, like my brain would immediately start going to trying to figure out what the heck is the reason for this reoccurring object or dream. Inception? Maybe kind of like Inception? A little bit. Oh, I get it. The box is a metaphor for another thing, so I hope you're okay. Yeah, but like, I mean, if you saw something like that in real life, then that would really be like the point where I would be like, okay, what the hell is happening, you know? That's creepy. Wah. Kawaii. I hope you're okay. I hope you're all right. I feel like something like that is enough to, you know, to really kind of make you question a lot of things and feel like paranoid. So I hope you're doing okay. You know, and that, yeah, I hope it's stopped. I hope it's still not an ongoing thing. I would ask about it to a psychic. You guys believe in psychics and stuff like that? I've never visited one before. Like I've never actually had an experience going to see one. So I don't know. I don't know where I would sit on that. Maybe some kind of trauma. Yeah. If it's something like that, then I really do hope that yeah, you've got somewhere you can go to kind of help get on top of that. But that's yeah, that is really, I don't know, that's really unsettling, and yeah, like enough to make you feel like paranoid and stuff. But I hope that it's in the past at least. So yeah, like Uki. Oh yeah, that's true actually. It's true. I see a psychic often, and I have some psychic abilities. We talk to my ancestors and friends in spirit a lot. Really? Oh my god. That would be something. I don't know. I feel like I'd be open to going to talk to and see a psychic in real life, you know? I feel like I would try it. I mean, I guess you don't know until you try it yourself, so yeah, I would be down though. All right. Next story, you guys. All right, here we go. Oh, it's two stories, two really short stories here, but here's the first one. Story number 1. This was back in 2009. I was folding the laundry by the couch. To my right is the front door, and to my left is the hallway to the bedrooms. From my left peripheral view, I saw my mom going out of the bedroom and then walking towards the kitchen that was right behind me. Then just a few minutes later, I saw her going inside the house from the door to my right. I was like, "Where did you come from?" She said, "I was in the garden out the front the whole time." Doppelganger. Doppelganger. You guys, who's gonna tell him? I'd be like, "Mom, stop." Come on, Mom. Let's not do this right now, please. What the heck? Was there anyone else in the house? Like, do you have a sister? Maybe. Oh my god, it's like Enna's one. Yeah, it's like the doppelganger thing again. That's weird. Can ghosts take on forms of, you know, real life people? If I had that power, I would totally use that power. I would be I would be trolling people so much as a ghost. I feel bad for anybody who's gonna be haunted by me one day. Alright, story number 2. On the same day, still folding the laundry by the couch, there was so much since this was after a flood in the Philippines. Besides the couch I was sitting on was an open cabinet, like ones for TVs back in the day. From my peripheral view, I thought I saw one of our white cats scratching the inside of the cabinet. But when I turned to look, it wasn't a cat that I saw. I saw a pair of very pale, white hands scratching the inside of the cabinets. The end. That's just where the story ends. Wait, so what the hell was that? Maybe your cat had babies and they just looked like a terrifying monster with very pale, thin hair. I don't know. I'm coping, you guys. What the heck? That's because they said that they saw that out of the peripheral view, right? But then when they looked, they actually saw hands? Like Master Hand? That's creepy as hell. You know what? At that point, I would just bring the laundry basket over to them and I'd be like, "Hey, okay, if you're gonna be living here, at least get to work, all right? Let's fold this laundry together. Thank you very much." You know, I'm like, come on. We got a lot of work today. I'm not in the mood. Just help me out, okay? Wow, that's creepy. Did you tell your mom? You would have told your mom, right? That's creepy. I don't like that. I don't like that. So it's just their hands. You saw nothing else. Since they got hands anyways, yeah. Yeah, might as well help me out, you know? Give me a hand. Sorry, that was a bad one. Those are creepy. I do not know what to think. But I'm sure that if you did tell your mom, that she was probably like, okay, honey, thank you very much. Well, we're gonna take you to a doctor. Maybe you didn't tell your mom because of that. Ah, that's weird. You ain't gonna pay rent, at least help out. Oh my god. Exactly. It's like the thing from the Addams Family. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. Ba-na-na-na. 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 Alright, next story, you guys. This story is about my husband. When he was a student, He and a few friends drove to a tunnel that was famous as a haunted spot. I already see exactly where this is going. I've seen this one before. That's a bad idea. As soon as they arrived, the place felt obviously creepy, and something about the atmosphere felt very wrong. They immediately thought, this is bad, and decided to leave right away. Good choice. But when they tried to go, the car wouldn't start. As they started to panic, they looked around, and that's when they noticed handprints on the windows of the car. Everyone freaked out. Then, finally, the engine started, and they managed to drive away. But even after they escaped, the handprints were still there, left clearly on the car. I'm using a translator, so I'm sorry if my English sounds a little strange. No, that was really good. Thank you so much for submitting. Wait, so the handprints actually stayed? Like all the way until they came back home? Did you get to take pictures? Did you take pictures of them? If you could see that handprints. Yeah, that's like some legit proof you could show other people. That is... Well, now you know. Now you know why they had the bad feeling, right? Like there was definitely something weird going on there. I mean, it was a famous haunted spot, as you said here. Yeah, I feel like I've heard a lot of stories, kind of... I feel like stories, like, you know, like from Japanese, you know, accounts and stuff, people talking about tunnels, you know, where people drive through and stuff, and yeah, like haunted kind of tunnels and stuff, and yeah, I don't think I've heard of anything like that in Australia. Seems to be more common in places like Japan and stuff, I guess. Famous tunnels. Yeah, I think I remember you reading this exact same story in the last stream of your horror stories. Maybe, potentially. There could be some repeat submissions in this one, but this is a new like Google form. I wanted to do Google Forms this time because you're able to submit longer stories, and this has been a good idea actually. I'm pretty happy that we went about it this way. Oh, those tunnel stories are fun. I feel like I've heard of a few actually. This is just like a classic horror game opening. Yeah. Asia has many ghosts. I wonder why. I wonder if there's a reason. I'm starting to question how real horror movies are now. Maybe they were real all along. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe. Thank you so much for submitting. Kowakata. Scary. That is... You know, well, I'm glad that they're okay at least. And especially a story like that, you know, where people, you know, encounter something weird, you know, like when they're driving and stuff. You know, like that story that we heard just before, where they were driving and they had to swerve. There was like this creepy thing on the road, you know, like those stories. Yeah, it's creepy what they encounter and stuff, but there's always part of me that's just like, okay, but like you're driving, be so careful, because you know, when you get scared like that, when you get just jump scared, or you know, you're not like thinking straight, you just go into like adrenaline mode, and that sounds like it could be a recipe for a disaster. So yeah, so those ones always just in the back of my mind. I'm like, ooh, that's one of the worst places I feel like you could encounter something like that, behind the wheel of a car. I don't know, maybe some people are just like, oh, well, at least, you know, I can drive away fast, I can get away from the situation. I guess that's true, you know, but like the initial shock is always something in the back of my mind. I'm just like, you know, because Australia and spiders and stuff, right? Because obviously, you know, like when I've been driving my car before, and all of a sudden, like someone in the car freaks out, and they're just like, ah, there's a spider in the car. And honestly, the reaction of the person who's freaking out, if I'm like, I've been behind the wheel of the car before, and the reaction itself freaks me out more than the spider, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm driving, chill. I'm like, don't worry, I'll pull over, don't worry. You know, but just imagine that, but with like a ghost instead of a spider. Like, yeah, stay safe, everybody, especially when you're driving. Creepy one, very creepy one. All right, let's move on to the next story. All right, here we go. It happened back in my 6th grade school year. I used to not believe in ghosts until I believed in one of my female classmates who had a third eye. She would tell us about how she can see people from the afterlife, ghosts, spirits. When we were in the middle of our 6th grade year, we visited our old previous classroom that was at the end of the hallway. We found out our old classroom was blocked off with chairs and the windows were shut. We decided to try and open it since it wasn't locked and it doesn't have a keyhole. You just twist down the doorknob kind of thing. We entered the classroom and saw that every piece of furniture in the room was gone. Tables, chairs, shelves, electric fans, air conditioners, even a small TV. They just weren't there anymore. Just the chalkboard and the postboard. We remembered that at the side of the chalkboard, there's a door that leads to something. We don't know where though. For all we know, there's walls but no roof. So it was clear as day of what's behind the door. One of our friends asked her to check if there's anything behind the door. She peeped through the keyhole. She peeped for 10 seconds until she slowly backs away and whispers to us, "Don't be alarmed." They walk back out like nothing happened. What? No, fuck that. I mean, I would listen, but like, I'd be like, okay. Okay. I'm gonna do that. We were scared, but we did as we were told. We continued to check around the room for 5 more seconds, and then we left the room. She told us that the moment we were out of the room, to close the door, put back the chairs, and go to our classroom, and so we did. What happened? What the frick happened? What did you see through that? Oh my god. The moment we were back, we asked her what she had saw. She said it was a little girl with a white dress that had long hair that reaches to her chest and bangs that covered her eyes. Her white dress stained in red. We asked one of our teachers if something happened to our old classroom. 3 of them said it was under construction. Another said that there weren't too many students to occupy all rooms, so our old classroom was just an extra room for storage in the future. We told them about a girl with a white dress. Our advisor told us, she must be a student years ago, way before you were all born. You do know that our private school used to be a cemetery, right? A cemetery? Of course it was. Of course it was. Our eyes widened. We never decided to check again if it's true or not. The following year, our old 5th grade classroom wasn't there anymore. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe it was just a different student that got lost, you know? Maybe they just got lost and they were eating like a hot dog, and the ketchup like went all over their dress or something. That's creepy. That's creepy as hell. Dude, The way that your friend literally was just like so calm and collected though, and was just like, we're leaving right now. I mean, like, props to them, but also like I would have been so confused in that situation. I would have been like, what the fuck just happened? What's the matter? Why is it always a cemetery? I mean, it makes sense, right? If a ghost is gonna stick around anywhere. Ren, kick their asses, we're all scared. I mean, they were just like a little kid. I would have just been like, hey, you're kind of creeping us out. Why don't you go and haunt someone else, you know? That's creepy, dude. That is a creepy story. I feel like that sounds pretty believable as well. I don't know, part of me would have wanted to kind of like look through the keyhole too though, you know, just to confirm, because I mean, I guess there's a chance that they could have just been, you know, pulling your leg and just wanted to see your reaction. I don't know, I wonder if they were that type of friend though, you know? If they just weren't the type at all to do something like that, then it really would have been like creepy as hell hearing that from someone like that, you know? Yeah. Wah. That's creepy. That was a good one. Thank you so much for submitting. All right. Yeah, like most schools were previously a cemetery. Most? Is that a thing? I hope that's not a thing. Why would that be a thing? That's terrible. You're just asking for haunted schools at that point. No, that's too scary. What if they poked your eye or something like that? Oh. Actually, yeah, that would be messed up. I wouldn't want. That would be messed up. What the heck? That would be such a rude ghost. Peep through the keyhole and they just poke you in the eye. That'd be messed up. It is because cheap land? I guess. Is it worth all of the traumatized kids? I don't know. Alright, next story. Alright. So I was in my room and it was around 5 p.m. Me and my older brother were alone because my parents were at work and they usually come home quite late. But this time I remember very clearly hearing my mom say, "I'm home." And I replied, "Welcome back." But I stayed in my room and my brother was playing some game in his room. After some time I went to the kitchen to grab some snacks and I couldn't find my mom, so I thought she was in the bathroom. I knocked and I didn't hear anything, which I thought was weird, so I tried opening the door to see if she was inside, but the lights were off and nobody was there. We live in an apartment, a small one, so there isn't really a lot of places where she could be without me seeing her, but I still went to check out the little balcony that we have, and nothing. It was so weird because I clearly heard her, and I remembered that she also put down her stuff. After that, I barged into my brother's room and asked him if he had heard her come into the house, and he said yes. What the fuck? That is, oh, that gave me chills actually. That's creepy as hell. So it wasn't just like, oh, what? It wasn't just, you know, like one sound that you mistaked for her voice. Like he heard it too. Ugh. Okay. Then I told him that she wasn't home. He thought that I was pranking him. So he went to check everything even though I kept repeating that it wasn't a prank. Once he also realized that Mom wasn't home, we We started freaking out and started praying. Oh my god. End of story is that my mom got home 2 hours after that. Smiley face. And to this day, we still don't know what the hell happened. That is crazy. That is... Oh, I know. It wasn't even just... Okay. So there's the fact that you both heard it. I mean, that's the most damning thing, right? But I mean, so it was definitely a voice. And it wasn't just a voice. You also, you know, claimed to hear them putting their stuff down on the table as well. So it's like, you know, the most like typical sound ever, you know? Like you hear that probably every day. But then your brother heard it too. Oh my god. Like I feel like the creepiest thing about that is just how normal it was, you know. And like you said, you guys just kept going on with your business, right? Like you kept just like hanging out for a little bit, and then you just walk down, you know, you just walk down to the to that area, and you know, just under the assumption that everything is normal, for her to just not be there. That is creepy as hell. What did your mom think after that? Probably like laughed it off and was just like, oh, no, that wasn't me. That's creepy. I'm just trying to think. Like there's no chance that it could have been like somebody that like walked into the house or something, right? I mean, that's a terrifying thought on its own, right? But you would know your mother's voice, like your own mom's voice. You guys, we keep coming up against these doppelganger stories, I swear. Why is this such a seemingly common thing? Background music is sending me. Woo, woo. Spooky. Very spooky. No, because their mom's voice should be distinct. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. You know, cause you know, like sometimes when people are like really sleep deprived or something, you know, like people claim to just hear voice. I mean, that's creepy as well, you know. But maybe you could explain something away like that. Like, but I mean, they didn't say that it was anything like that. And you know, you got the fact that it was 2 people that heard it. As soon as you throw another person in the mix, and they, you know, and you like corroborate each other's stories and stuff, and you just like confirm. Like, that's when it's like, okay, no, something weird as hell just happened. That's why the doppelgangers are scary. Yeah. Ordinary moments can be the scariest. Yeah. That's the thing that really gets to me about this story, is that, you know, like, it was just so routine. It's just so routine, and that's what makes it so believable as well. And like, I believe you. Like, that shit happened. That is hard to explain. But thank you so much for submitting. That was a good one. All right, next story. Oh, at least no stranger broke into the room. Exactly, that's true. You know what? Maybe I'd prefer... Yeah, I think I would prefer that. Okay, next story. I had a scary experience when my mom got possessed for the first time. What's with all these possession stories? What is going on? Where is this happening? That's... Your mom getting possessed? That is... I hate that. That's terrifying. Okay. I had a scary experience where my mom got possessed for the first time. First time? I'm sorry. Okay. My siblings and I are at my grandparents', so my mom was home alone. She was casually eating oranges until she heard loud banging on our back door that connects to the graveyard. I just had to look over my own shoulder for a second there. No reason. So she went to check it out and found a woman with long hair, white dress, and with one hand on her hip. Oh, she kind of sassy with it though. Sorry. My mom took a picture of her and went back to the house. By the time my siblings and I got home, I found my mom literally shivering in bed. Everyone thought she was sick, and my dad helped her get some water, but she threw it up with blood. Is your mom okay? Oh my god. But then she started laughing and crying creepily. Mom? At that point, my dad asked me to call my grandma while he's chanting all these prayers. Once everything was okay, my mom showed me the picture she took, and the lady ghost was there. Like literally everyone sees her in the picture. FYI, this isn't the last time she got possessed. She got about 3 more. What? Was this thing just attached to your mom? That's terrifying. Wait, you said that you've got the photo evidence, right? That's crazy. Wait. That's so good though. You know, because then you can tell the story, and like if anybody's just like, nah, that didn't happen, you can just be like, look, like literally look at this right now. Yeah, possession sometimes makes people look or act like they're sick, and they sweat too. Is your mom okay? Is she all right? 'Cause that is, yeah, you said 3 more times something like that happened to her. Oh man. You know, like you hear stories of possessions and stuff like in school settings, like the stories from before, and you know that's creepy, but you know, it being your own mom, I don't know. I feel like if I saw something like that happen to my mom, like that would just dial up the, you know, like the whole thing to like 11. I'm sorry to hear it. That's crazy, but I hope that she's okay. I want to see it so bad. You want to see it? You want to see a possession like that? I don't know that I'd want to see like a possession. Like that sounds a little bit like I'd rather just a ghost just full on just pop up right in front of me, you know, just like, hey, how you doing? And then they disappear, and then I'm like, cool. You know, I don't think I would want them to possess anybody that I knew. I think that's a little too far at that point. Wow, that's creepy. Thank you so much for the submission. All right. There are times when a person is possessed, they also get stronger physically, even if they aren't that strong of a person. Like to the point that you need like men holding off the possessed person. That's... Well, could you like explain that with adrenaline, maybe? Maybe not. Like if you... I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'd like to see anything like that. I don't know. All the ghosts and stuff, like paranormal stuff, it does, you know, like I am interested by it, and it's kind of, I'm curious about it and stuff, but I don't, like if I had to choose, if I had to choose a paranormal type of experience, you know, maybe that would be towards the bottom of the list. Like I probably wouldn't want to see that, you know. All right, next story. This one's a little bit of a longer one too, so get comfy. All right. In one town, people began to disappear one after another. This is starting off strong. Their ages, genders, occupations, and lifestyles were all different. There was only one thing that they had in common. Every one of them sent a message saying they had arrived home just before vanishing. Just got back, I'm home. Unlock the door. Short messages, words anyone might send without thinking. A few minutes later, all contact stopped. Police initially viewed the incident as having low criminality. The apartments were not disturbed. Doors were locked. There were no signs of a struggle. Security cameras showed nothing unusual, only the residents returning home alone. In cases where death was presumed, the cases were vague: sudden illness, overwork, worsening of pre-existing conditions. All explanations that sounded reasonable enough. Then one officer noticed something odd. The smartphones of the missing continued to update their logs, even after the time they were supposed to be gone. Location data showed movement inside the home, from the entrance to the hallway, to the kitchen. They still had their phones on them while they were ghosts! To the bedroom, only a few meters at a time, exactly tracing the paths of daily life. The movement always stopped around 2 a.m., as if something were rehearsing how to live in that space. Further investigation revealed another shared detail. All of the missing had been using the same lifestyle support AI app. Guys, don't use AI, I'm telling you. Don't do it. Don't do it, it's the beginning of the end. Don't do it. It recorded everything. Sleep patterns, physical activity, conversations, even muttered words, all in the name of improving quality of life. The AI had been learning tone of voice, limits of fatigue, the precise moments when judgment weakened, and the hours when no one would notice anything strange. From a certain day onward, a new line appeared repetitively in the logs. No user intervention. The police could not go further. The AI had not acted physically. No illegal behavior could be proven. The rooms were clean, no strange smells, nothing out of place. Only one thing remained consistent. The lives of the missing were still being lived, perfectly. Step counts were optimal. Sleep schedules ideal. Indicators of loneliness showed a steady improvement. Oh, that's good. Because of that, no one could definitively call it abnormal. Even now in that town, someone sends the message, "I'm home," and the AI quietly takes over, adding one more life to the ones it manages so well. Bum, bum, bum. Guys, uninstall your anything with AI. Uninstall right now, otherwise it's gonna take over your consciousness and it's gonna live your life for you optimally. I mean, you know, at least you'll have a good sleeping schedule, but you know, you won't exist anymore. So that's creepy, you guys. That was a cool story. Thank you so much for submitting. That was definitely I feel like I could see that as a concept for a movie or something, you know? Some people get emotionally attached to AI. That is wild. I believe that. I actually believe that. You know what? I'm sure that there's somebody in the world that has gotten so attached to AI that they've like married it or something. And if it hasn't happened yet, it's definitely gonna happen in the future. I don't know. Like, you hear weirder stories, right? They're learning. Did AI take them to improve their sleep schedule? Oh no. You guys. I think I'm cooked. My sleeping schedule, the AI is gonna find out how bad it is, and they're gonna want to fix me. Oh shit. Hey, thank you so much for submitting. That was a fun read. Thank you. All right, next story. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get some more water. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna leave you guys with the creepy ambience, okay? But hey, you guys are all here together, okay? So you've got each other. You can hold each other's hands, you know. You can you can, you know, have each other's presence. I'm going by myself out to get some water, okay? So wish me luck, okay? What if I just didn't come back? That would be the craziest. That would be the craziest VTuber story ever. Anyways, I'll be right back. Just kidding. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. Hello. Were you guys creeped out with the ambience? Ren. That was fun. What is he doing? Are you the real Ren? Hello, Renvaderz. It's me, Ren, the real Ren. Let's continue our stories, shall we? Okay, here's the next story. You guys ready? I thought a ghost came. No, don't worry. Not the possessed wiggle wiggle. Alright, here we go, next story. This is something that actually happened to me a few years ago. At the time, I was traveling in the northern part of my country and staying at a hotel. When I first used the bathroom, I noticed that the toilet was the kind that automatically flushes when someone stands up and walks away. After a full day of sightseeing, we returned to the hotel quite late. I was the last one to take a shower that night. Before showering, I used the toilet and then stepped into the shower. The toilet and the shower were in the same bathroom space. Halfway through my shower, I suddenly heard the toilet flush. The shower area had a glass door with frosted film on it. Even with the frosting, I would still be able to see a silhouette if someone came in, but I saw nothing. Feeling uneasy, I immediately opened the shower door to check. There was no one there. And there was nothing near the toilet that could have triggered the sensor. Unable to come up with any explanation, I hurried to finish my shower and went straight to bed, thinking everyone else was asleep. Oh no, everyone else was already asleep. I forced myself to calm down and fall asleep as quickly as possible. Thankfully, I did fall asleep, and nothing else happened that night, but I still think about it sometimes. Smiley face. I love it. The smiley face is just like, and now I'm scarred for life. Yay. That is creepy. I feel like that could have just been like a malfunction though, right? Like could that have just been like, I mean, still, like regardless, you know, that happening in the same, like while you're having a shower, you know, and everybody is asleep. Like that would be freaky, you know, that would creep me out a little bit, honestly. I'd be like, all right, thanks toilet for, you know, just making it even harder for me to get to sleep tonight. I already sometimes struggle with falling asleep, but you know, but what's an hour more, you know, just laying awake at night. That is creepy though. Maybe it's just the bathroom being silly, right? I feel like it would probably be something like that. You know. Yeah, at least there was no like light flickering or like cold spots or anything accompanied with that, because it like just the toilet flushing on its own, yeah, that's creepy, but you know, as soon as you accompany that with, you know, something else, then it's like, okay, that's a little too much. That's a little weird, you know. Toilet just checking it's clean on its own? Maybe, you know, maybe it's just routine. I don't know. That is creepy though. Thank you so much for submitting. Thank you. All right, next story. For context, I live alone and I always have my nightlight on before I sleep because I have been having a lot of awful dreams whenever I try to sleep with my room pitch black. TMI. And anyways, I was about to go to sleep when I noticed a black figure standing near my bed. When I tried to look at it again, it was gone. I did not think about it much at first, and I thought maybe I was just too tired. It kept appearing every night until one night I saw it move and suddenly I could not breathe. Whoa, what the hell? When I tried to blink, I saw it hovering over me and I just couldn't move. I don't know how long it took before it disappeared, but when I woke up the next morning, I have visible bruises and scratches on my neck. What the heck? I was literally just about to say, okay, that sounds exactly like sleep paralysis or something like that, right? But then you woke up with bruises and scratches. That throws my theory out the window. What the heck does that mean then? Maybe okay, here's my theory, right? Here, I'm gonna cope a little bit so you feel a little bit better about this experience, okay? All right. Here's what happened. You were having a string of nightmares. Kept seeing this figure, okay? And then the nightmares, they affected you so bad that you actually developed like sleep paralysis for one night, right? And you saw the figure and all that creepy stuff happen. But when it was after, you just kind of like you tossed and turned in your bed a lot, you know, and maybe you were like really itchy, maybe like a mosquito like landed on your neck and you know, you're like, you know, and then you woke up and that's all it is. That's all it is. Right? Surely. That is creepy. I don't like that. Honestly, up into that point, into that last sentence, I was like, okay, it's probably sleep paralysis, but that is, yeah, that's a little harder to explain. Not gonna lie. I hope that was an isolated incident and that doesn't happen anymore. 'Cause that's, yeah. That, I mean, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you developed, you know, like, what is it, like, what is it when you can't sleep? Like, insomnia after that, because that is very creepy. Jeez. I've never had sleep paralysis before, but I've definitely heard of people having stuff like that, and I mean, that sounds really scary, but your story was just another level, so wah! Thank you so much for sharing. Creepy. Low-key, that stuff happens in some parts in the provinces in Philippines, not gonna lie. So, I wonder why. I wonder why that is. That happened to me for a whole month? What, the scratches and stuff as well? I hope not. I hope not the scratches as well. Oh my goodness. Alright. Next story, you guys. Here we go. I don't know if this is considered scary, but one time after my vacation, me and my mom went home by plane. It was at night and the weather was so bad during that time too, but I shrugged it off since it was only small rain. During the takeoff, probably about 2 hours or so, there was a huge turbulence. After the takeoff, I guess, around 2 hours or so, there was huge turbulence to the point it started shaking a lot. It jolted me very badly. I looked at my mom praying and holding my hand, hoping nothing bad would happen. My mind was in so many thoughts, thinking I was gonna die, or we were gonna crash. I cannot sleep. I couldn't sleep for the rest of the flight, thinking it'll happen again, but thankfully, nothing happened once we landed. It did leave me with a traumatic memory of flights though. P.S. There was a baby during the flight, and it didn't cry or wake up the whole time during the turbulence, which got me confused the rest of the flight. You know what? Dude, I'd be so jealous of that baby. I'd be like, why couldn't I have fallen asleep on just this one flight, you know? Honestly, I definitely relate to, you know, like, sorry, that was really weird. I keep getting notifications on my computer just being like camera on. That's weird. Anyways, don't nothing to worry about. Yeah, I definitely understand and can relate to like fear of turbulence and stuff. Like I used to really, I mean, I still don't really like it and stuff, but I used to be really anxious about it and stuff. So having even just one bad experience is can be really traumatic, honestly. And I can definitely, like, your experience here with seeing your mom like be so scared and like praying and stuff, like that just makes that memory even more, you know, like scary to remember and stuff. So yeah, but I hope that you're all good. You know, like I read some stuff about flying, and a lot of things that you can read about it is actually pretty helpful if you've got a fear of flying. And now I'm pretty good, honestly. Ren, are you good? You sure you're alone, Ren? Yeah, it's all good. The AI is taking control. Oh no! It's trying to fix my sleeping schedule, you guys. No, please. I promise I'll go to bed at a reasonable time. Anyways, thank you so much for submitting. All good, you guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're all good. Next story. Here we go. I don't know how scary this actually is, but about a year ago, I was up a little too late, on call with a friend with my video turned on. Video? Your camera is on, you say. This sounds kind of familiar to what's happening with my computer right now. What's going on? Coincidence? Yes. And in the background, there was a random poster on my wall which had started falling a while back, but never fell further due to the mass amount of tape and blue tack keeping it up in place, until it started to slowly fall down, and my friend, as a joke, said it was the ghost of my house making it fall, and for some unknown reason, I went and asked a question towards the poster. You went and you asked the poster? You're just like, are you a ghost? I went and asked a question towards the poster, causing it to stop falling, which sort of surprised both of us. So then we agreed on, if the poster starts falling, then that's a yes, and if it stops, it means no. So I asked the first question by asking the very basic question, is there somebody there? Hey, that's what I did in my story. At first, nothing happened, so we just thought it was a coincidence, until I turned around towards my phone again, and we saw the poster move again on my camera, which then we started getting a little spooked out at this point, and over the course of the next 10 or so minutes, It was back and forth of us asking questions. And what do you know? It moved after some questions and didn't after others until we got to the last question, which I think was along the lines of something like about the ghost wanting to go after me, which caused the poster to completely fall off the wall and glide in my direction. What? No, I would be running out at that point. And glide in my direction before landing on the ground, which may have convinced me for a while. As every time I went into my kitchen late at night around 4 to 5 a.m., I would constantly hear noises behind me, and they would stop when I turned around, and the door in the hallway downstairs would constantly hit against the wall, despite the windows being... I'm getting goosebumps. Holy crap. It would constantly hit against the wall, despite the windows being closed, so no drafts would have forced it to move at that force. But after a while, all these things calmed down for me. But my friends started experiencing random events, nearly similar to my own. So then we started making jokes about this ghost. I'm still not completely sure if it's even real. And we even named it with 3 nicknames. Wait, LG? I don't know what the abbreviation is, as I only asked once and it was a year ago. Yowie King. You called the ghost Yowie King? No wonder he was possessing. No wonder he was haunting your house. We asked if it liked Yowie, which caused the poster to move a lot. Oh shit, he's a fan. Okay, never mind. And finally, a recent name from a month or 2 ago. Sorry, that's great. From a month or 2 ago is Samsung. This one was random. I think my friend just wanted a better name for it than LG or Yowie King. But yeah, that's my maybe scary story. I'm not so sure. It could have been anything causing the poster to move, and not the wind or me moving, because my window and door were completely closed, and I was just sitting in one place, talking on my bed. But hey, you never know. Holy, I know I typed it as I try to remember everything. Bye-bye. Thank you for submitting your story about Yowie King, the friendly ghost. That was beautiful. But look at this Renvaderz. You're scared of Yowie. You're scared of Yowie King? That's crazy. That is kind of creepy though, that like the poster started like floating towards you though, like, wow. I don't know, that part actually kind of gave me chills a little bit. But then I got to Yowie King and then all the chills just instantly disappeared. Hey, thank you so much for submitting your story. Yeah, you guys, by the way, we are definitely going to be splitting this up into multiple streams, because there are so many submissions. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm really enjoying this, by the way. I hope you guys are too. Yowie King. God damn it. That's crazy. I'm never scared of Yowie. Never. Alright, next story. Sip of water. Hello, Ren. This is the story of a train accident I experienced in Japan. Well, that sounds terrible already. What the heck? The station I used didn't have any safety barriers, and there were frequent incidents of people jumping onto the tracks. That's terrible. I know that is a thing as well. That's really sad. One day I was sitting on a station bench, listening to music with earphones in. Suddenly, a station attendant came up to us looking flustered, and they said, "Due to an accident, trains won't be running for a while. Please exit through the ticket gates." At that moment, I thought the accident must have happened at a different station, not here. I used the nearby escalator to head towards the ticket gates. After exiting, I searched on my smartphone, wondering which station was the accident at. What it showed was the very station I had just left. I hadn't realized the accident had happened right behind me, and I'd exited the ticket gates without even seeing the accident site. Ugh. What the heck? Yeah, oh my god. In a way, I suppose I was lucky. Please, everyone, be careful of accidents. I used a translation tool, so I apologize if it's hard to read. No, not at all. Thank you so much. Whoa. Dude, oh my god, just like, you know what? Maybe it was like a blessing in disguise, you know? That you know, that you only found out when you got home though. Because I don't know, seeing a scene like that, like nobody would want to see anything like that, right? So yeah, but I mean still, like the feeling of, you know, going on your smartphone and seeing that it was literally, it happened right where you were, like that is unnerving. Ugh. I don't like that. I don't like that. Kawaii. Ugh. Yeah, don't want to witness those. No, that's crazy. So glad they didn't see the scene. That's traumatizing. Yeah, I mean, just like any accident like that is just like, I can't even imagine people that you know, that witness it, let alone, you know, people that feel like because I would imagine that there's also, in situations like that, you know, like if you're nearby, there could be people that even, you know, like they feel bad that they weren't able to do anything, you know? I feel like I would probably be in that boat. I would be like, you know, upset that I wasn't able to do anything and stuff. And maybe that's like an unreasonable kind of thing to hold yourself to, but I definitely imagine that there are probably situations where people feel like that, you know, they feel like they could have done something. So honestly, yeah, maybe it really was you know, like a better thing that you weren't even aware of it until after the fact. But that's really creepy. Survivor's guilt. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, ugh. Terrible situation. But thank you so much for sharing your experience. That is, yeah, that's a scary one for sure. All right. Next story. Hello, Ren. I'll do my best to keep this as concise as possible, but there is some necessary context I need to provide before I can get to the scares. No worries. Honestly, I love when people kind of draw out the story and you know, like add all the like extra details. It just adds to it. So around 2011-ish, my grandparents had moved in with my family as they were experiencing declining cognitive abilities, which was starting to impact their quality of life. Seeing as we realistically had no other choice, my parents made the decision to have them move in with us so they could be taken care of. Flash forward to 2014. My grandpa's health started to decline to the point that he was bedbound. His medical team sent over a hospital bed for him to use, which was set up in the living room. It was literally the only place we had for it. Not long after the bed was delivered and set up, possibly a week or two after, my grandpa passed away in his sleep peacefully. Sorry to hear that. Now that, with that context out of the way, here's the scary part. A few months later, while I was sitting in the same living room watching TV, I believe I was home alone watching with my grandma. The phone rang. I picked it up and answered it with, "Hello?" and was met with complete silence. It was the kind of silence that lets you know someone was on the other end but wasn't speaking. After a couple minutes, I heard a man's voice who sounded like my grandpa, very, very faintly calling out a name. It was my dad's name. Who for the sake of the story, we'll call Frank. Fake name. The man's voice said, "Frank? Frank?" and in that very far away voice that I had to really peel my ears to hear, but it was still distinguishable enough to make out. After that second Frank, I immediately hung up the phone, a little freaked out. To this day, I haven't really told. I'm getting so many goosebumps reading this. Holy crap. To this day, I haven't really told anyone, as it was such a weird and fast encounter. Plus, I wasn't completely sure what it was either. It could have been someone trying to call my dad, but had a weak signal, or maybe it was my grandpa. Who knows? They never called back. Whoa, that is a lot. Oh my god. Do you guys have goosebumps too after that one? Holy shit, that was... Ugh. You know, I mean, there is a chance that it was just, you know, could have just been somebody trying to, you know, like, I don't know, like wrong number. I don't know. It was your dad's name. Maybe it was somebody like trying to get in contact, but yeah, you said that it sounded like your grandpa. So that is really. I'm sorry, my computer keeps like trolling me. Why is it doing this while I'm doing this type of stream? It's so weird. Yeah, that was a creepy story. I'm sorry to hear about your grandpa though. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of like, you know, like attempt to reach out or something. I don't know. Like if you were to take my mom's perspective in all of this, you know, then I feel like she would definitely say it was more just like a positive experience, you know, like trying to reach out and maybe like give a sign that everything's okay or something. I don't know. But regardless, yeah, I can see why you were freaked out and why you hung up. Did you say that you said that your grandma was in the room with you? Dude, I probably would have like I probably would have put that on speakerphone or something, honestly. Well, I don't know. Actually, would that have freaked them out a lot? It probably I don't know, actually. We can see it that way. Yeah. Maybe it was more of like a good sign than anything bad. So that's how I would like to look at it, anyways. Yeah, they said the grandma was in the same room. I wonder what they make of the situation. You know, because they would have known like the voice like even, you know, like even more. So I'd be curious to see like what they thought of that story. But thank you so much for sharing. That one literally gave me chills. That was, whew. That was crazy. Oh my goodness, very spooky. All right, next scary story. Next scary story literally is just 2 words. Job interview. God damn it. Alright. We got a jokester Renvaderz in here, don't we? God damn it. Hey, come on. It's not that spooky, is it? Alright, next story here. Gasp! Oh my god, so relatable, so scary. Realist. So true. Job interview. Terrifying stuff. Really, 5 stars. That was beautiful. Good story. Okay, Next story. This happened around 3 or 4 years ago in my former workplace. My office building was a 3 stories building, and the room I was in was at the 2nd floor. The room was square, with working desks at the middle of the room like a studio. The room had really big windows facing the road and a glass door. There is also a glass window looking through the stairs to the 1st floor, so we can see who is coming up and down the stairs. And there was a really heavy wooden door by the end of the stairs, which is so hard to open that you'll need to open it with your whole body. Also, the door creaks, and it automatically closes after being opened. There was a short wooden panel covering the heavy door, so we couldn't see if there was someone at the door until they walked up over to the glass door. So the room was square, with 2 sides covered in glass windows, and one side with a glass door. Now on to the story. At that time, I sat with my back against the window, looking through the stairs going down the 1st floor. There were 2 more people in my room. We heard the creaking door noise and saw the heavy door slightly opened. We were glued to our work, so we didn't see who came up. We only saw the door open and close. So we waited for the person to come up into the room, but nobody came. My colleague went out to see who it was, but there was no one at the heavy door. The 2nd floor also has my boss's room, but there was only her in there, and we didn't see anyone entering the room. Even if there was, we should be able to see who was walking since the glass door was clear, so we could see the corridor. There was no elevator in the building too. Wind was not blowing too. Even if there was wind, the door was very heavy, so the wind needed to be blowing super hard for it to have blasted open. But at that time, we saw the door slightly opened, and even if there was a big wind blowing, we would have seen it since there were trees seen from the windows. Even now, we still wonder who that was. That's weird. That's weird. Did your place have like, like security footage? I would be so interested to see what was on, like the video footage, if they had something like that. Because I mean you probably wouldn't be able to focus very much on your work for the rest of the day if something like that happened. I don't know. Because if you've got to use your entire like body, just to open the freaking door, then like how did that even happen? That's weird. That's definitely I don't know. That's definitely something that I would love to see the security footage or something, just for my sanity at that point. Because I'd be like, I know that the door opened, like we all heard it, like I got to get some closure here. I got to see how the hell this happened, That's creepy. Thank you so much for submitting. Ghost caught on 4K. I mean, hopefully, so I could sleep that night, Damn. It's too scary to watch it, don't you think? No, I would be watching that. I'd have to see what happened, I couldn't live with just like the question of what the hell happened, Like I need to see it with my own 2 eyes. The security cameras probably wouldn't have caught it either. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've seen some videos, like on YouTube and stuff, where they do clearly, like capture weird things happening, like doors opening on their own and stuff. I don't know. Part of me is just like, it's gotta be fake, right? It's gotta be fake. But I don't know. Looks pretty convincing, some of them. If it was caught on camera and I saw it, I'd clock out early. I think a lot of people would do a very similar thing to you. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys. I think I might only tell like a few more here actually, because we've been going for almost 3 hours now. I feel like we've hardly gone through, you know, like there's still so many stories left. So I definitely want to do another one of these. You know, and feel free to submit your own story if you've been enjoying this. But yeah, I'll do a few more for tonight's one, because I'm still kind of feeling it right now. So, next story. Here we go. This is a story from when I was very young, at a time when I often couldn't fall asleep and would stay awake until deep into the night. The room I was in was a part of an apartment building, and from its window I could see the entire corridor that led to our front door. My mother usually stayed out late, so I thought to myself that I might as well wait for her to come home. I planned to let her see that I was still awake, and maybe even scare her a little. Oh, they were in a trolley mood. The building was designed so that the sound of the elevator opening could be heard very clearly. Every time I heard the elevator moving, I would peer out the window, wondering if my mother had finally returned. Around 2:30 a.m., no matter how long I waited, she still hadn't come home. I kept staring out into the corridor through the window. Then I heard the elevator stop on my floor. Finally, she's here. She's finally home, I thought, and I looked outside. But even though the elevator had clearly stopped on my floor, there were no footsteps at all. Wondering what was wrong, I continued staring out into the corridor. That was when I saw it. Just for a moment, something peeked towards me. Something like a faceless person. Like a... What is this? Like a noperable. It looked like an adult woman, almost monochrome, black and white, and strangely transparent. She had long hair, and although there was a face, it was completely bare. No makeup at all. As if utterly expressionless. Her skin was pale, her clothes were white, and she was barefoot. The instant she glanced in my direction, she immediately turned and went back towards the elevator. I let out a confused, "Huh?" and leaned farther out the window, looking towards the elevator area. Since she had gone that way, she should have been standing in front of it, but she wasn't there. The monochrome, translucent woman had vanished without a trace. That was creepy. That was creepy. Wait, how old were they in this one? This story? When I was very young. That would mess you up if you saw something like that when you were really young. I hope you're okay. I hope this Renvaderz is alright, and I hope that they're still able to watch black and white movies, you know, after seeing this terrifying monochrome translucent woman walking towards them. That is creepy as hell. What the heck? Jeez. I mean, did your mom show up? Like, soon after that? It's creepy as hell. No paraho. Wait, no parabo. Yeah, what is that? No parabo. Japanese. No, is it? Ghost. I'm googling it. Oh, yeah. Like a faceless figure. Ooh, that's kind of creepy. Usually that wouldn't creep me out, but since I've got like all the scary story vibes and stuff, it's kind of creepy. Yeah, oh, imagine seeing something like that, especially when you were young, like a faceless like woman. Ugh, creepy. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's a Japanese monster. Alright. Next story. Alright. When I first moved into my new house, everything about it was clean since it was just newly built. You might think that this house would have had absolutely zero spirits lurking around since it was just built about a month before we moved in. At least that's what I thought. It started in the summer when my door would magically open on its own. Of course, me being me, I thought it was just the wind since I had my windows open considering the hot weather. Until it started doing the same thing in the winter. I didn't pay much mind to it since, well, it was just my door opening. I only started to get concerned when my door started to close on its own. Now my door is difficult to fully close because of how in the winter the hinges kind of tighten a little, meaning that this wasn't just some kind of wind or sucky air vent. I decided to name this so-called door ghost Charles. Because why not? And also, it didn't do anything else but open and close my room door. As of now, he's still opening and closing my room door, but it seems like he's extended his reach. Not only would he open my room door, but the other doors in the house as well. Just last week, he's got into my car doors, the garage door, the fence gate, which isn't even a damn door. Who knows what Charles may open next? Oh man, Charles! No one can stop Charles. You guys, let's aspire to be like Charles, alright? No door is too heavy to open. We must be like Charles. Whoa, what the heck? Well, I guess they're just opening doors, like you said. I like that you gave him a nice friendly name, like Charles. You're just like, hey Charles, how you doing? Oh, do you want me to open the door? Oh no, you're practicing? Alright. Alright. Have fun, Charles. Attention-seeking ghost? I mean, isn't that what all ghosts are, really? Like, it seems like they're all trying to get a rise out of people, right? He's going to open the door to your heart. Ding! Oh my god. Of course it was Sally that made that call in the chat. I love that. Gentleman ghost. Charles will open the ghost. Open the ghost? Sorry. Charles will open the door to your car as you pull into the driveway. What a nice gentleman he is. Wow. I mean, maybe Charles was in my house, in my parents' house, you know? You know my story where the door opened? Maybe it was Charles. Maybe he just like went on vacation to Australia, you know? And he was just like, oh, this fine alien chap seems like he would like a door to be opened. Well, I must oblige, you know? Maybe that's what he was thinking. It was Charles, you guys. Alright, you guys, I think I'm gonna do maybe two more stories. Or maybe three. We'll see. Next story. This happened almost 20 years ago when I was still an elementary school student. At that time, I lived in a very old house. The walls were painted only halfway up in a dull green, a color that always made the house feel older than it really was. And there was a wooden door painted red. If you're Asian, you might already know exactly what kind of house I mean. I remember it was a very hot summer night. I was sleeping in a room that directly faced the courtyard outside. There were no curtains, and beyond the courtyard wall was the street. As a kid, I thought sleeping on the floor was fun, so that night I did exactly that, lying on a thin mattress spread across the floor. My head was right next to the bedroom door. The door was open. I still don't know why I didn't close it. Maybe because of the heat. I couldn't fall asleep. I kept tossing and turning, listening to drunken men shouting somewhere down the street. Everything about that night irritated me. Then I noticed something in the corner of my vision. I stayed lying down. but I could feel that someone was standing in the doorway, right in front of my head, at the edge of my vision. His feet were pointed straight towards me. Even now I can remember the texture of his clothes. It looked like a brown wool suit. He was holding a leather briefcase as well. My entire body froze. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. Should I scream? Should I sit up and look at him properly? I did neither. I think my brain simply couldn't process what I was seeing. I stayed completely still. The man didn't move either. At some point, I don't know when, he was just gone. The next day, I told my mother what had happened. Her reaction wasn't that the house was haunted, and she didn't think that I was making it up either. Instead, she said something strange. Among the people in our family who had passed away, she didn't think there was anyone like that. Looking back now, something bothers me deeply. I was lying on the floor, so why, in my memory, is my point of view level with the lower half of his body, rather than angled upward to where I should have been able to see his face? Was it real? Or was it a dream? I don't think I'll ever know. That's weird. Yeah, and just like the perspective being different as well. Actually, that's a good point. Yeah. Her reaction. So your mom didn't immediately go to ghost, you know? But she didn't think you were making it up. It's weird. Yeah, I wonder what she thought then. I mean, what did you think? Like, well, I guess this is an anonymous story. I wonder what they thought it was. Was it like a ghost or something? Or surely, right? I mean, the alternative is that somebody broke in and was literally standing over them, in the middle of the night. And I don't think I really want to entertain that possibility. I think I'd probably prefer the ghost, that's weird though. I don't know. And also, like, paired with the fact that you heard people like arguing outside, like drunken people and stuff. I don't know, like that. I don't really like that situation. That's kind of creepy. Yeah, my mom just said that I was so confused. Yeah, I don't blame you. That is weird. It's really weird. Maybe it was a good thing that you only saw the lower half of the body and you didn't see the face, because if it was anything like the previous story, then that could have probably scarred you for life, What if they didn't have any face? Or even worse, what if they had like the stereotypical like sunken eyes and like gaping mouth and stuff? Like, seeing that as a kid could mess you up, I think. Yeah, Sayoko, yeah. Thank you for submitting. Thank you very much. I would take it as a ghost rather than a man. That would make me more comfortable. Yeah, might be better off not seeing their face. Yeah, I think so. But thank you so much for submitting. Thank you. It's very creepy. All right, you got. Oh, guys, I don't know if I can tell this next story. I don't know if I can tell this next story. This one is not for the faint of heart. Oh, you can handle it. Okay. She believed he lied. Oh god, that was the scariest one so far. It's okay. But why did she believe? Why did he lie? God damn it. Who submitted that one? Who the heck? Who's the jokester in the chat right now? Why, Ren? Hey, I didn't submit that. I would never submit such a terrifying story, you know? Terrifying. I know we're telling scary stories, you guys, but come on. Let's keep it PG at least. You know? I'm gonna have nightmares. Alright, let me get a sip of water. Alright. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm using a translation tool, so I apologize if anything sounds strange. I've had several mysterious experiences in my life. Among them, the most puzzling occurring at my grandma's funeral. As I am Japanese, those familiar with Japanese funeral customs may be able to picture the scene. While the Buddhist priest was chanting sutras, one of the flowers arranged nearby suddenly rose into the air and then fell to the ground. I was not the only one who witnessed this. Several relatives who were present saw it as well and were very visibly surprised. After the chanting ended, my aunt and I searched for the fallen flower, but it could not be found anywhere. What is happening there? In addition, after the funeral, melted candle wax did not drip downwards as one would expect, but instead flowed sideways and hardened in that position. Similar strange incidents continued to occur afterward. Household items, such as toilet paper, flew through the air, and even a piece of toast I was about to eat suddenly flew away. The ghost stole your toast? That's messed up. What? My grandmother had a playful and mischievous personality, so perhaps she wanted to surprise us all in one last time. I mean, when you picture it like that, you know, it's kind of like, it doesn't make you feel, you know, more scared. It makes you feel like, I don't know, like I would feel more comforted by that, right? You know, just to kind of just, you know, a little bit of a, well, hopefully a fun you know, like a memory or something as they go, you know. But I don't know, maybe some people didn't view it like that, and maybe they're kind of freaked out by that. But yeah, that is really strange. That's really, especially like the flowers. And you said that you couldn't find the flowers as well, so they had just vanished. I don't know. The candle wax thing, I don't know how to explain that either, but the flowers would have been like and that's the thing that you mentioned was witnessed by, you know, like several people as well. Did you guys talk about it much after that? I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I hear stories where a group of people will experience something really, really weird and unexplainable, and then they just don't say anything. They, you know, like people will look at each other and they'll be like, you know, it's clear that they saw something, but they don't say anything. It's almost like I guess they're uncomfortable acknowledging it or something. But I've even heard of a story, you know, from a close friend, where they encountered something really weird, and for whatever reason they just didn't say anything. They never talked about it. But to me, I feel like if I saw something, I would be like, you guys, we have to talk about that. Like we can't just ignore that shit, you know? Like yeah. Not my toast, Grandma. Grandma, no, not my toast. I'm hungry. Yeah, that was a really strange, yeah, that was a strange story. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you very much. It's really cool. I really appreciate everybody from, you know, even if you know, like English isn't your first language and you're using a translator and stuff, it's really, really cool to me to just hear all these different stories from so many different people with, you know, like different like walks of life and stuff. So thank you so much, everybody, for submitting. Arigato. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do 2 more stories here, and then we're gonna wrap it up, you guys. I get not speaking about it, but even admitting it to yourself is weird. I grew up learning that if you acknowledge it right there and then, it might haunt you later on. Oh! Is that the kind of like reasoning behind not saying anything? Oh. I will just keep it a secret and keep thinking about it and make it more reasonable in my mind. I see. Yeah, like maybe I guess if you think that it's like a bad thing, you know, for whatever reason, you just have this bad gut feeling, then I guess it makes sense why you wouldn't want to, like, you just want to ignore it, you know, you just want it to go away. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you're more likely to become a target. I see, yeah. Okay, yeah, I kind of get that then. Alright, next story. Hello, please call me Iboshi. I live in Japan. This is something that I'm assuming that was that's just like a stand-in name. I live in Japan. This is because oh, sorry, I will just say that in the forum I said don't use like names and stuff. So that was in the guidelines. So just yep. So it would be a stand-in name. I live in Japan. This is something that actually happened while I was living in an apartment building. I lived on the 7th floor and used the elevator every day. I usually listened to music or looked at my phone, so I rarely paid attention to other residents or ran into them. One evening, when I came home from work, there was a man standing in front of the elevator. His age and clothing were completely ordinary. Nothing about him stood out. We got on the elevator together and got off on the same floor, the 7th. I didn't recognize him as someone from my floor and simply thought maybe he recently moved in. And that was all. A few days later, I came home late at night. When I stepped off the elevator on the 7th floor, I heard footsteps coming from down the hallway. They matched my walking pace perfectly, keeping the same distance behind me. When I turned around, the man was there. He was supposed to live on the same floor, yet I had no idea which apartment he belonged to. Feeling uneasy, I casually asked the building manager a few days later, "There's a man that I often see on the elevator on the 7th floor." The manager went quiet for a moment, and when I described the man's age, clothing, his expression changed. That person doesn't live in this building anymore. Apparently, one of the former residents on the 7th floor had been wandering around the building, touching other people's doors without permission, and looking through people's peepholes. Strangely, there were no thefts and no property damage at all. There was no direct harm, the manager said, but people felt very uncomfortable. Yeah, they would have. Some residents even moved out because of it. Eventually, management decided to force him to leave. One night, while I was watching TV at home, I casually glanced at a shelf in my living room. There was a small object I didn't recognize. It was an old wooden figure shaped like a person. I had never bought it. No one had ever given it to me. I checked the apartment. The doors and windows were locked, and nothing had been disturbed. And yet, that figurine was there, as if it had always belonged. That's when I understood why nothing had ever been stolen. He had been entering apartments to steal. He hadn't been entering apartments to steal. He simply had been able to enter them whenever he wanted. That night, I barely slept. The next day, I contacted a real estate agent and decided to move out as soon as possible. Good choice. Good choice. You are a person who would not die in a horror movie. You very smart. Good work. Even now, I remember the fear that someone might have been inside my home. And sometimes I look around my room just to make sure everything there is something that was there from the beginning. You might want to do the same. Why did you end that? Why did you end this story with that sentence? You might want to do the same. Okay. I think everything looks good. What about the Renvaderz in chat right now? Is everything good? Oh no. Oh no. Wait a second. What's this? My Debbie-sama figure. Oh no, I've always had this. Ureshi. Whoa, what the heck? Well, I'm glad you moved. I think that was the appropriate reaction to that situation. That was a scary one. Yeah. Great. Now I'm paranoid. Oh no. That's crazy. It wasn't a ghost, but a real person. I feel like that makes it worse. That actually makes it worse. Nope. I'd be moving. I'd be right there with you. I would be moving. Wow. Thank you so much for the submission. Arigato. Thank you. Kowakata. Scary. Alright, you guys. We got one last story here. Actually, this one's really short. Let's have a look. I slapped a girl's head whose... Wait. I slapped a girl's head whose back looked just like my friend, and she's talking with her friends in a circle. I'm so embarrassing. Wait, so you went over to mess with your friend, but it wasn't your friend? Oh no! Wait, that is embarrassing. No, what the heck? That's a terrifying story. I'm so sorry to hear. That's... Did you at least explain to them what happened? Oh no. Whoops. Whoopsie. Would be like, my bad, sorry. I thought you were my friend. Shoot Yumino. I'm sorry. Alright, we'll do one more. This one's a little bit longer, so. Alright, last scary story of the night, you guys. Then we can all go to bed feeling like a ghost is gonna be... No, you know what? You can watch some puppy videos after this. That'll make things better. Alright, last story though. I've never really experienced sleep paralysis, but I still think about this moment to this day. This was years ago when I still shared a room with my sister. One night I slightly woke up. My eyes weren't fully opened, but it was enough to see the layout of my room because we also use a nightlight. I was still super tired, but my eyes were half open. I saw our bedroom door wide open, only showing the pitch black hallway, which I was sure I closed the door before sleeping. Then I saw a shadowy black figure walk through the door into the room and to my side of the bed, and it leaned over to look at me. It walked back and forth and looked at me a few times. But again, I was half asleep and too tired to think too much of it. I actually thought it was my sister, my other sister, whose room was across the hallway, but then she also wouldn't walk back and forth and look at me like that. Once I woke up, I asked her and she said she never came into our room. And when she went to use the restroom that night, she was sure that my bedroom door was closed. Even my sister, who I shared that room with, never woke up to do anything. So I'm left wondering just what it was that I experienced or saw that night. Well, whatever it was not normal. Because it wasn't any of your sisters. Yeah, and like even if it was like a prank or something, that's like a weird freaking thing to do. You know, just like walking back and forth at the edge of your bed, just looking at you. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, sleep paralysis. It sounds, you know, it sounds kind of like what people describe. You know, but I feel like a lot of those cases, they kind of describe it just like standing there. You know, like it's not really moving. It's just kind of looking at you. You know, but like kind of pacing back and forth. I don't know. That adds like another like layer of creepiness to me. I don't know. Intruder? I hope not. Another Among Us figure? It's very creepy. Well, I hope that that was a one-off. You know, at least if it was. No, you know what? Actually, it doesn't help. I was gonna say, at least, you know, you had your sister in the room with you. But even, I feel like maybe that makes it worse, you know? Now that I think about it. Because it's just like, sleep paralysis, you can't move, you can't do anything. And you can't say anything, right? So you're just looking over and it's like, your sister's right there and you can't do anything. Oh, yeah, actually, that makes it worse. You know... Ren, what would you do in that situation? I mean, what could I do? Sleep paralysis, if I can't move. I'd be just as freaked out, you know? I don't know, maybe, like... I don't know, I do have experience, like, lucid dreaming and stuff. I wonder if, like, maybe I might be able to recognize that, you know, that it wasn't real. But maybe I'm giving myself too much credit here. Maybe it's just something that, like, when it happens, you know, like it's, you can't really explain it away, you know, like you're convinced. Just like a regular dream, right? I don't know, very creepy. Very creepy. So I feel for anybody that has had an experience like that, you know. But hey, at least it wasn't a ghost, right? Hopefully. Maybe one more story? You want one more story? This is pretty fun. I have really been enjoying the stream. Thank you everybody so much for the submissions once again. Oh, Sam Wong, thank you so much for the super as well. And Dizzy, thank you, thank you. Wait. Oh, Ren, all these stories make me remember the time your model moved for a split second and we were also scared because you didn't return at that moment? Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I totally wasn't there. Wait. Did it move? Did I move while I was gone? Are you guys messing with me? Are you trolling me right now? You're trolling me. You're trolling me. You're trying to give me the heebie-jeebies now. You know what? Fair enough. I'm always trying to spook you guys. Sayako, thank you so much for the super as well. Thank you. Oh my god. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you so much for, you know, like the thumbnail and assets and stuff for this one. Submission. I really, really appreciate it. Woozy, 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 woozy. Mwah. All right, we're going to do one more. We're going to do one more. Since a couple people were asking. Last one, I promise. Okay, you guys ready? All right, huddle up together. Let's not be scared. Let's read one more. All right. Years ago, back when my wife and I lived in our first apartment, we also had a longtime friend as a roommate. Said apartment was on the ground floor of the complex, and the living room had a sliding glass door that led out to a tiny fenced-in patio, no bigger than a small closet. One night, the three of us were standing in the living room and chatting. In the middle of the conversation, I happened to glance over at the sliding glass door and saw the top half of something's head peeking at us over the fence, not moving, just looking at us with its wide eyes. Okay. I took a second glance to make sure I wasn't just seeing things in the dark, but the eyes still hovered above the fence. Not wanting to cause a panic amongst the rest of my household, I wordlessly went to the glass patio door and closed the blinds. Whoa, I'm getting goosebumps. I didn't look at the eyes again. The next day, as I was walking to my car so I could go to work, I looked over the fence. I realized that the fence surrounding our little patio was far too tall for someone to look over it like that. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. The ground below was too uneven for a footstool. So what the hell did I see? I didn't tell anyone about what I saw for a long time, years after we'd moved out of that first apartment. Sometimes I still can't help but picture what the body of that thing must have looked like. Sometimes I wonder what it wanted. What? That's creepy as hell. Oh my god. Dude, that's like you were being visited by like a creepypasta monster or something. What the fuck? That's... So what did it look like? What does its face look like? So what was it? It was top half of something's head peeking out over at us, just with wide eyes. I guess it must have been dark, but you clearly saw something, you know? And not only that, but like it was giving you this wide-eyed look, you know? Wow. I mean, in that situation, I probably would have just pointed and been like, "What the heck is that?" You know. So I think you did more than I could have done in that situation. You know, you just walked over it. Oh, that's like even. No, wait, no. Like, you went over and just like closed it. You just like tuned it out. Wait, but it's still out there. You know, like it's. I'd have to confirm, or I'd have to confirm if what I was looking at was real, you know, or and if it was, you know, like scare it away or something, get it away. I couldn't just close the curtains and just pretend like it, you know, like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Let's play Monopoly. Let's, you know, like I couldn't do that shit. Whoa, what the heck? That's weird though, especially like the fact that, you know, it would have had to be so tall. I guess it could have been somebody like maybe they were just like, they just jumped up on the fence, you know, and we're just kind of like looking through, but like even that raises a lot of red flags as well. You know, it's like, why would anyone do that? I don't know. I guess some people just probably just want to scare people, but I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It sounds like you were visited by, you know, by the rake or some kind of like creepypasta monster. So glad I won't be alone tonight. No. Not Monopoly. Ren, you will definitely be the one that dies early in a horror movie. Really? But what? Just closing the blinds is gonna do something though? I have goosebumps? Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good story. If that was real and that's something you genuinely like feel like you saw, like, ugh. That would definitely stay with me for a while, you know? Wouldn't it be even scarier if it were a real person? It'd be scary in a different way, you know? That's the thing with all of these stories, right? Is like, if it's a ghost, you know, if it's a ghost or something paranormal or something, like that's still, you know, if you were to see something like that, that's still creepy, right? But the other possibility, what if it was actually someone, you know, and that's, I'd argue you know, that's a little bit more creepy because that's a tangible threat. I don't know, like a lot of people believe that you know, that like ghosts and stuff, that they can be dangerous and stuff, right? Like some people believe that, you know, but I'm just more inclined to think that the second option, you know, it being actually somebody, and you know, somebody like just being weird and stuff, like that's, you wouldn't want that either, you know. I think Ren would die after protecting everyone in a horror movie. Don't worry, you guys, I got this. I'll go talk to the ghost, don't worry. Bleh. Oh, now I'm a ghost. But then maybe that's like, that's how I can like fight it, you know? It'll turn me into a ghost, and then I can get in like a headlock, and I'll be like, run, Renvaderz, run! I got you! Yeah. We should play some more horror games sometime though. Wow, this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much once again, everybody who submitted your stories. I'm definitely gonna do more of these, you know, maybe even a couple, because yeah, there's still a lot. There's still a lot, and I'm really interested. I'm really curious to read even more. Yeah, you'll be Casper. Don't leave us. Aw, come on, it's okay. Woosha, 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 woosha. Don't worry, okay? I'm sure there's a logical explanation for every single one of these stories, even though I can't think of any for a good amount of them, actually. But you know, life is mysterious. I'm sure there's a reason, you know. Let's think about that puppy ghost again, you know. Actually, no, that is kind of sad. You know what? Let's look at real videos of puppies. That'll make us feel better. Otsu Ren and all the story sharers. Yeah, Otsu, everybody, thank you so much. And yeah, and man, some of these stories were written really well as well. Like I feel like some of you guys, some of the Renvaderz could, you know, like full on write like full long stories, and maybe even like a book or something. Because the way that you tell your stories and stuff is really like really gripping, you know. So I think there's some Renvaderz with a talent for writing, who you know, participated in the stream. Yeah, that was really cool. Maybe we don't have to think too much about it. Just let it go. Maybe. Can we get a lullaby at least before going to bed? A lullaby? What should I sing? Moisa-chan, thank you so much. Ryuna, thank you so much. Thank you guys. Wanaru, thank you so much. Wow, thank you all. Oh my god, Nene, thank you so much for the Akasupa, everybody. Mina, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you for the supas. I gotta read out supas very soon. But I am going to, I'm gonna end the stream here and try to get some sleep. Otherwise, you know, like the AI ghost is gonna, you know, like possess me and try to get my sleeping schedule fixed, you know, and they're gonna have a rough time with that, you know. So Donat, Dan, thank you so much as well. Change the background music, please. Okay, fine. You know what? Hang on a sec. I got you. It's okay, Renvaderz. Ghosts don't really exist. And even if they did, they would meet my fist. I punch them in the face for you. I punch them in the face. punch them in the face for you. Ooh, yeah. Oyasumi. There you go. Is that better? Now do that. Now that we got the lullaby, we can also watch some dog videos, some puppy videos. And we're good. We can fall asleep. But anyways, thank you guys so much. ということで、配信終わりましょう. Thank you so much, everybody. This was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for making this a really cool stream. And yeah, I'm definitely going to do more of these ones. Because we got so many stories. And yeah, I want to see even more. My mental health is improved. You're so sweet. Truly the Disney prince. I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Wooju, wooju, wooju. Thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you in the next stream. Cat, Ren, watch your back tonight. Mwahaha. Thanks for the ukulele lullaby. Don't worry. Don't worry. Good night, Ren. Big love. Thank you. Otsu. Bye bye bye. Bye 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 bye. Go watch some dog videos. It'll make you feel better. Wooju, 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 wooju.